We are live here on Fireside Yankees for another edition of our offseason live streams. Today, we're going to talk about the Jeff Passan report that dropped earlier this morning regarding the trade market, some trade candidates. Jasson Dominguez listed as the Yankees as one of the trade candidates and someone who is on the Yankees, of course. This would be pretty significant for the Yankees. If they were to trade him, it would kind of spell the end of a very brief tenure for one of their top prospects. We're going to also talk about some of the players the Yankees were linked to. That includes a class that has Tarek Skubal, Mackenzie Gore, and we're going to talk about the fact that the Toronto Blue Jays just signed Cody Ponce. We're going to talk a little bit about his profile, the winter meetings, all that stuff, all that and more right here on Fireside Yankees. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and drop a Let's Go Yankees in the chat so we can know you're here. We really appreciate you guys showing up and showing out. We are live again, and I'm really excited for this. So I'm just going to type out really quick for the Twitter. We are live. And let's just jump right into this. I just want to make sure I post this there. All right. Let's get rolling. We have John here saying, what's up? How you doing, John? Hope you're having a great night. Bryce asks, Yankees aren't going to do anything, I guess. Blue Jays was another good addition. Yankees love sleeping. Remember, it's not even the winter meetings. A lot of the big names for the Yankees that they're linked to have not come off the board yet. So I think we got to kind of wait a little bit. I know that it's frustration. Time is, and I actually did say this here. Just kidding. Just frustrated rivals making moves. Totally fair. Totally fair. Look, it's a slow grind. The offseason is difficult because when you're not making moves, you kind of feel like you're not getting better. You don't feel as excited about your roster the more you kind of sit on it. But remember, the Yankees it's not like the Yankees haven't done anything. I know that Grisham signing back is not really doing anything to a lot of people, but it is an improvement to their outfield. They did cover one of their two outfield vacancies. Time will tell again if they're going to end up going out there and being able to improve this roster or rotation, this bullpen, this roster, this lineup. I'm drinking some coffee. I know that it's really late for that, but need to get wired. Let's see what we got here. Any chance they could package Dominguez with a pitcher, Healer Warren, McMahon, another piece for Garcia? Not sure which Garcia you mean. Man, is there a Garcia I'm not thinking? Huh. All right, let's just jump into the Jeff Passan thing because we'll circle back to this. So I'm going to share the article right now that Jeff Passan put out in the morning. That is some pretty interesting news on the Yankees and their trade situation. So let's kind of just go. How do I I don't know why I'm saying, how do I share my screen? I know how to share my screen. All right. Oh, okay. You meant Maikel Garcia. The Yankees aren't getting Maikel Garcia just because it's such a big addition. Like, Maikel Garcia is their second best position player, that being the Royals. So 15 more could go. Jasson Dominguez is one of the guys who Jeff Passan has listed as getting traded potentially this offseason. He's available for trade. We talked about that here at Fireside Yankees, that the Yankees could be willing to trade Jasson Dominguez. But I think once someone like Jeff Passan says it's real. And kind of giving you guys what I've heard inside the organization, Jasson Dominguez is not looked at as someone who sucks or is a complete loser, whatever it may be. Like, I want to clarify, this is not smearing him, the player, or him, the person. Jasson Dominguez is a good dude. He's a hard worker. He's one of the guys who, honestly, I've heard the most positive about as a person, as an athlete, as a teammate, all those things. But the fit, the Yankees don't really view him as a great fit for left field. There's a reason they're still very much interested in Jasson Dominguez. And then, and I'm going to try and find this here on Threads. I don't know if you can find if Threads is something has a web page, but if I can find it real quick. Jeff Passan also said this in regard to the Yankees outfield situation, basically saying that the Yankees are going to need to trade one of their outfielders if they bring back Bellinger or bring in just an outfielder in general. This site is so buggy. This site is so buggy. I apologize. That being Threads. Then again, it's a new website. I mean, I don't really use Threads. I just use it because Jeff Passan posts there on there now. So whenever he posts, I'm going to pay attention. Anything he says, I'm going to pay attention to. So we're going to try and look for where he said this, but essentially he had stated that if the Yankees bring back Bellinger, they're going to trade an outfielder. And that, I mean, it's just very loud. There we go. It's very loud. The noise around trading one of their outfielders. I don't think the Yankees are going to be forced to if they don't sign Bellinger. But again, if they do, this is just one of those like it's pretty, yeah, it's threads like Instagram. It's pretty significant that it's not a matter of if the Yankees find value, which is kind of how I understood it to be, that the Yankees would have to find the right value. It feels a lot like the Yankees feel like they don't they don't view Jason Dominguez as a reason to not sign an outfielder, and that's pretty significant. And then let's talk about the guys he linked the Yankees to in this article. I'm not gonna be able to find it on Threads. I'm sorry, I don't know how to use Threads, guys. I just saw the screenshot on Twitter and I forgot to save the tweet. All right, so first guy that's mentioned is Tarek Skubal. Now, Tarek Skubal is not going to be a Yankee. I'm just going to put this one out there now. Where is this? I'm sorry. This whole UI, I'm like thrown off right now. Okay. Team fits, Yankees listed under team fits for Skubal. Now, again, Skubal has a 10% chance of getting traded according to Jeff Passan, so I would not believe this is going to happen. I don't think they're going to get him, but the most interesting one on this list, or the two interesting ones on this list, and for me, were Mackenzie Gore and Brendan Donovan. Let's talk about Mackenzie Gore first. Mackenzie Gore, number 9 ranked here. Yankees listed as one of the best fits. 30% chance of getting traded. Mackenzie Gore is someone who I'm not particularly sure I'm in love with, but the upside is definitely there. And if the Yankees were to bring in Mackenzie Gore, you could definitely imagine him going out there and being a potential number 2, number 3 starter, and maybe even ace. I mean, his stuff is truly electric. When we look at what Mackenzie Gore has done with the Washington Nationals, and you look at the stuff, and we're going to load up his StatCast page real quick here. Fastball velocity inside the 66th percentile, 95.3 miles per hour, 6.9 feet of extension, big whiff rates, big strikeout rates, big chase rates. But this is where the issues are. It is with his inability to limit damage contact. Now, Gore's repertoire has definitely evolved over the years. He's gone from really fastball reliant to slowly dialing it down, but I do think the Yankees would be a good team for him to further dial down that usage with. He's got 3 really good secondaries in the changeup, slider, and curveball. Look at the whiff rates here. Really, really good whiff rates. 47.2%, 40.5%, 35.7%. Maybe the Yankees can get that cutter usage up. It's at 40.9%. Four-seamer, it's not a bad pitch. It just gets used so much that I think it's an ineffective, or not ineffective. It's just a mediocre results pitch, because not a lot of guys can succeed being 50% fastball pitchers. And the 50% fastball pitcher archetype is something that people don't really succeed with nowadays. So Mackenzie Gore listed as a fit for the Yankees. I think the adjustment here is, again, try and get him to throw more of his secondaries. Look at the pitch plot here. Gets movement away from left-handed batters into righties, gets movement into lefties, away from righties, and then has his cutter, slider kind of sit in the middle of this movement plane here. Cutter, not a lot of lateral movement, more of a gyro-y slider pitch. The slider doesn't have a lot of glove side movement either, but I think that makes these two pitches effective. They're more bullet spinning kind of pitches, and I like that archetype for a slider, especially for a left-handed pitcher who needs to be using, I think, his slider more against righties. I don't think he uses it enough against righties. It's a pitch that should profile well against them. It's kind of a head scratcher that doesn't throw it to righties, considering, again, it's a bullet slider. Bullet sliders do really well against right-handed batters, especially from lefties. So a little bit concerned about that for Gore, or not concerned, a little bit kind of like scratching my head about that. Notably, that Yankees not listed as a fit for Kwan. I find that interesting. Now let's talk about Brendan Donovan, another team listed as a fit, according to Jeff Passan of ESPN. Now, Brendan Donovan, he gave a really high chance of getting traded, 75%. So if he's a 75% guy, man, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to look at the Yankees and say they are not at least going to check in. I know the fit roster-wise isn't great, and I've talked about that before. I don't think it's a great fit roster-wise, but he's a good player, and maybe you just bring in a good player and let them figure out where they're going to play. That's kind of what the Yankees are doing last year. If you remember, look at their outfield. It was Grisham, Bellinger, Judge. Dominguez wasn't terrible last year. I want to clarify. He wasn't a completely god-awful player. He just wasn't as good as Grisham or Bellinger. I would list him as a quality big league player, mixed in for playing time there. Goldschmidt, Rice, quality big league players. Stanton, really good last year. There are more players than they had positions for throughout the 2025 season. I thought that was a good thing for the Yankees. And when you look at Brendan Donovan, has the ability to make tons of contact. Look at those contact rates, 96th percentile whiff percentage, 92nd percentile contact rate. Really, really good ability to square up the baseball. The hit tool is absolutely elite. You have 96th percentile squared up percentage, 94th percentile sweet spot percentage, pretty league average batted ball data. But when you've got league average quality of contact and then 70 grade quantity of contact, you're going to be a really good pitcher, or excuse me, really good hitter. Sorry, if you're a pitcher and you're not missing bats and you're not missing bats, then your quality of contact average are going to actually be really bad. So for hitters, being a high contact guy who has a decent amount of power, league average power, is good. When you look at his ability to hit the ball to right field, let's look at the spray chart here, because despite being a contact guy who doesn't hit a lot of home runs, Brendan Donovan does have a pretty good ability to hit the ball in the air to right field. Let's kind of look here. Spray chart, we're going to take a look and we're going to overlay it over Yankee Stadium. Close there. Look at all these fly balls. I mean, 1, 2, I got this one right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, look at this with Brendan Donovan, man. This is something pretty sexy here. And I think, look. Some of these aren't going to be home runs. Like, this might not be a home run, but that's at least a double off the wall. This is definitely a home run. This is definitely a home run. This is definitely a home run. Home run, home run, home run. Like, this is a guy, and he might lose this home run over here, but this is still a dude. And we got Fireside Giants here, and I know exactly who's commenting here. This is 100% Alex. And if you guys are a Giant fan like myself and you are similarly outraged about the Giants, you guys should check out Fireside Giants. They did really good videos on the reaction to the Giants loss against the Patriots, and also they did a video reacting to the Joe Shane presser. I was like, who had the press conference? What moron in the organization had a press conference? And I second this message. Fire Joe Shane. Oh, you guys can't see the spray chart? My bad. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. Here's the spray chart. Home run here, home run here, home run here, home run here, home run here. Like, look at this spray chart overlaid over Yankee Stadium. Brandon Donovan's, this swing is just going to work. You might be able to give him an extra 2 or 3 home runs a year just based on hitting at Yankee Stadium. So for those who can't see it now, you can, hopefully. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, or I might just save the image and open it in a different page or a different tab. But it's a really damn good spray chart for Yankee Stadium. So that's where the fit makes sense. It's a guy who's a already good hitter. Brandon Donovan put up a 775 OPS. Jesus, stuttered over that pretty crazy. It's a 775 OPS. It's a WRC plus of 119. He was nearly 20% better than league average. Again, just looking at these here, and it's the kind of swing that just works. It works here. You might lose that 1 home run here, but that's fine. Look at everything you gain over here. So this is a guy who would get a lot better with the Yankees. Now, if you want to look at, and you want to say, hey, well, the Yankees, you don't play all your games. You don't play all your games in one ballpark. You got to look at the other ballparks. Let's just look at home games. Let's just look at the home games. You lose the home run over here because he wasn't getting that in St. Louis. He probably got it in a different ballpark. Still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at just home. And this is a great question, Steve. Where is he playing? That is easily the biggest risk here. Like, are the Yankees actually going to say, are the Yankees actually going to trade for Brendan Donovan? And I don't know if there's a fit on the roster. If they think he can play shortstop, that would be a fit. If they think he's a shortstop, that would be easily the number one. That would easily be the number one place to kind of make that work. I would not trade Jazz to make Brendan Donovan a New York Yankee, despite popular belief. And I'm not saying that because I think that he stinks or because I think that Donovan isn't good. It's simply because I don't view Brendan Donovan as clearly better than Jazz Chisholm. He's slower than Jazz. He's not as good of a defensive second baseman as Jazz. He's actually pretty league average. Jazz is on the above average side of defense up the middle. Again, it's the versatility. Maybe he can play left field for the Yankees if they are not able to bring in Bellinger. If the Yankees rate him as a solid defensive left fielder, which I'm not sure I would give him that kind of tag. I don't think I'd tag Donovan as an above average defensive left fielder, but I would tag him as definitely a passable left fielder for sure. Then maybe there's a possibility for this. Maybe there's a possibility for Brendan Donovan to be a Yankee. Again, it's just the fact that he can play other positions. Let's kind of look at the defensive data here real quick. Look at his defense. Not good in left field, above average at second base. I might have been sleeping on his defense a little bit. This is OAA. I might have been sleeping on it a little bit, but I don't think they're going to be a team that's willing to put him in left field. Could Jazz play the outfield? You see, I don't think they would put him in the outfield. I think that Jazz wants to remain a second baseman because you also have to think Jazz is in his walk year. Now, the Yankees should do what's best for the team, not just accommodate for one player. But I do wonder how Jazz would react to it. And Jazz is an emotional player. He wears his heart on his sleeve, for better or for worse. That's part of the package you get. He's unapologetically himself. Now, before I continue this conversation, I'm going to take a sip of this coffee. And then I've got a special guest to talk about Brendan Donovan. I've got a kind of I don't know if I want to do a WWE entrance here. I don't have any music for it, but I'm dropping in the man of here, Alex Wilson. Alex, you saw Brendan Donovan. It might have been all over the screen.
Like a spidey sense, bro.
Him and you saw the article. Can you talk to me about why? First off, how you doing, man? How's your?
I'm doing fantastic after watching Joe Shane make a fool of himself today in that press conference. Just wrote the exit letter, but I had a spidey sense. That Brendan Donovan was being discussed, so I popped on over, and guess what? My favorite trade target ever continues to be linked to the Yankees. I need this guy. Someone said it in the comments. Just find a place for this dude to play. Just find a place for this guy to play. He's that good of a fit for the Yankees. He could do everything. Also, by the way, phenomenal insurance policy if Jazz and walks next year. Yeah. And I think the question with Donovan is where he plays. That's fair to say. Just kind of figure it out. Left field, second base, third base, there are going to be reps. Now the question I have for you, if the Yankees, if you were approached by, Hal Steinbrenner, he goes, hey, we're willing to make the trade offer for Brendan Donovan, but he has to be your left fielder. Are you doing it? Yeah, dude. I mean, right now we have Jason Dominguez in left field, so it's like.
Wait, so just to clarify, though, you would be willing to forego a pursuit of Bellinger for Donovan?
That's a really good question. Pursuit of Bellinger for Donovan. I think that Donovan, obviously, you had 2 years left of arbitration. When you look at Bellinger now at 30 years old, you give him 5-6 years, whatever. Like, that is going to age poorly, most likely. I mean, the money, whatever, it's a sunk cost at that point, but he's volatile. Like Bellinger, I think we got a really good version of Bellinger last year, a healthy one. But there have been seasons where he's not always that healthy, and same with Donovan, to be fair. So, just looking at the situation, I think Donovan probably is the better player, more just because he's more consistent offensively. He's just a consistent offensive piece. Defensively, what are his numbers defensively in left field? I can't really see it from here.
Let me zoom in here. Defensive numbers in left. If you look at his career numbers, 0 OAA, 0 OAA, 0 OAA, and then -2 OAA. So he seems to be like leaning on the negative side defensively.
Slightly below average.
Yeah, like a slightly below average defender. Now, St. Louis left field is big, so we can't sit here and say, oh yeah, St. Louis left field is noticeably, it's like a different ball game. No, if you can play left field there, you can play left field anywhere, I think. It's a big outfield. Yeah. So I would say Brendan Donovan, I think, after thinking about that too, I didn't really think about how big their outfield is. I would do it. I'm going to pull up this other tab here. These are Bellinger's and Donovan's numbers the last 3 years. Now, I know the WRC plus advantage and a lot of the offensive advantages, if we're being honest, go to Bellinger, higher slug, higher OPS. But this is what I'm more focused on here. The expected OPS, or expected weighted on base average. There is a big gap here. And as I displayed earlier, Alex, and as you and I are astutely aware of, Yankee Stadium's a much better. Like, if you put Cody Bellinger in St. Louis for those 3 years and you put Donovan in Chicago and Yankee Stadium 2 years, 1 year, I think the numbers flip. I think Donovan's a better hitter than Bellinger in that scenario. Do you feel the same way? Do you what does this data tell you? Or does it convince you that you want Bellinger because of the results, or do the underlying metrics tell you Donovan?
It's such a hard question. In my heart, I'm like, I kind of regret the Yankees getting Ryan McMahon at this point. Like, he's a great defensive player. I know they love his swing, and I think that they feel that they can do what they did with Trent Grisham with him. Most likely, is like, okay, we can improve the contact rates. Grisham is obviously an extreme kind of example to use because his contact rates went so far up. McMahon, if you can make him 15% better, you're probably looking at a situation where he is a valuable hitter. Maybe he's a 100 WRC plus guy for your team, but he plays Gold Glove defense, and I'll take that over Oswald Peraza any day. So you look at McMahon, I get it. I understand it. Kind of regret it just because it does make it more difficult to justify a Brendan Donovan acquisition. But I am, in this instance, going to opt for Donovan. And here's an idea, Ryan. Why don't we take it a step further? Why don't we say something like this? Trade for Donovan. You have your left fielder. He can even be your super duper utility guy. He can play anywhere you need him to. If there's an injury, he can go and play second. He can play short. He can play third. He can play left. He can play right. He can do all sorts of stuff for you, right? Super duper utility guy. But his home is left field for now. Sign Bellinger anyway. And then make Grisham 1 year, just make him your fourth outfielder. And then utility man, Brendan Donovan, you can use him very, very flexibly. I know you have Jose Caballero, but I'd rather have Donovan playing every day than
for sure.
Osvaldo Cabrera or Caballero. So it's you just have more. You just have more.
Do we get crazy and say, this comment is suggesting putting McMahon at short? I want to flip the other. Would you put Donovan at shortstop and say, all right, for 1 year, put Donovan at short, then you bridge it to Lombard? Donovan is your bridge to George Lombard Jr., and then he slides over to second base.
So that's actually was my original thing that I had thought a couple, maybe a week and a half ago when Donovan's name came up the first time. I wrote why he should play shortstop. And I think that we can all sit here and say, if we could get Bellinger to play left, you have Grisham in center, Judge in right, Brendan Donovan playing shortstop, even if he's an average level defender, which he is about an average level defender. The sample size is iffy, but let's say he's an average level defender there. He is so much better offensively than Anthony Volpe that I would be willing to risk it. That's kind of the thing is the defense. Yeah, you're probably going to lose some value there, but he's a 40% better offensive player than Anthony Volpe. And if Volpe is the only other option, I'm willing to run that risk. And against teams, you can always use Volpe as your defensive substitute, right? Late in the game, you need elite defense. You throw him in there to play elite defense at shortstop. So maybe that's the balance. I actually don't hate the idea of putting him at shortstop and even just competing, or just he's the type of player you just get and see where he lands potentially. That's kind of also an option that people get hurt, man. Things happen.
For sure. I think what's a fair point is that he hasn't really played a lot there, and the defense could legitimately be horrible. That is definitely possible. He could be just absolutely terrible.
You just move him.
I wanted to stay on the topic of shortstops real quick because the player that I wanted to mention here, and I had spun this idea on Twitter. John Heyman mentioned that the Cubs could be looking to move Rentals, and you and I kind of talked about this guy a lot last year. I was very much pushing this button. I think the Yankees should go trade for Nico Hoerner and put him at shortstop. I think he would be.
That's defensive brilliance.
Let's kind of break down Let's break down the Brian Cashman quote from the Covenant House event. What was one of the biggest things he talked about at the bottom of the lineup?
Strikeouts, baby.
Look at the percentiles. Now, I'm not a guy who just thinks, oh, you don't strike out a lot, you're a good player. That's not really my thing. I think that's very much that's not really that's not my thing. That's not my thing. But I do think there are good players, and there are good players who the reason that they're good is that they make a lot of contact in zone. Nico Hoerner is Yeah, he is an elite defensive player. He was an elite defensive shortstop who only moved there because Dansby Swanson, who for half a decade was the best defensive shortstop in baseball. Hoerner is he's a right-handed hitter. He's never had an OPS plus below 102 over the last 5 years. And he's a 1-year player. So you're not making a large financial investment to him. If you put him at shortstop and he's sitting 6th or 7th in your lineup, you've got a really deep lineup because you're taking Volpe. I don't really, not a big average guy, but let's look at that here. 297 average, 345 OBP. That is such a big increase over what Volpe is likely to provide for you. Volpe's projected, I think, for a 220 average and a 290 on base on Fangraphs. That is a 50-point on-base percentage increase, and that is a 70-point batting average increase at the shortstop position. You're not losing any defense. You're increasing your speed, most likely. He's a better base runner.
Yep.
This is the kind of guy where he's been a 4.5 win player for 5 years, basically. Every single year. Every single year. He has more wins over replacement since 2022 than Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman. I remember saying this when he hit the market. I was like, I think he's better than I think he's as much of a difference maker as an Alex Bregman. And I got laughed at, and he ended up producing more WAR than him because he was healthier. Let me kind of pull up this real quick before I pass it off to you. Look at the players he's accumulated more WAR than. 17.5 WAR, more than Ketel Marte since 22. Marte, Alvarez, Devers. I know there are injuries in here, but health matters. This guy's a machine. He's a rock. Look at him and Manny Machado. Manny Machado, 17.5 WAR. Nico Hoerner, 17.5 WAR. Or 17.8 versus 17.5. And Hoerner's played 7 fewer games. And it's just 1 year of him. So it's not like the Cubs are going to ask for the moon here, and they can't freaking afford to extend him. They can't afford him. They're cheap. They can't afford him. Could you maybe say, hey, here's Will Warren, who I know they liked a lot. And I also know last year the Yankees they were offered a deal from the Cubs where it included Schmidt and Hoerner. Don't know what was the specifics beyond that. They like Warren a lot. Would you be willing to like sign Imai and get Hoerner at shortstop? This is also something you could dig. Maybe you trade Jazz to get some chips in, and you kind of, because I'd prefer Donovan Hoerner middle infield to a Jazz Volpe middle infield. And that is kind of a shakeup. I don't know. I kind of want to get you like spitball. What are your thoughts on Hoerner, and just the shortstop position in general?
Yeah, I mean, Hoerner is you're talking about, as someone said it, the best infield defense in the game. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about McMahon's a Gold Glove, Hoerner's a Gold Glove, Jazz is a borderline Gold Glove, and then you have Ben Rice, and maybe he's just average, and that's okay because it's better than what we've had. I will say this: Hoerner's the type of player the Yankees come across in the playoffs, and he kicks the living shit out of us.
Yeah.
We need more guys like that. We need more guys that just beat the crap out of people, get on base, make big plays in big moments, and ninth inning, you need a big out. They're not dropping the ball. He's not dropping the ball. He's making that play. That is so critical.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, and I was spitballing this with my dad earlier too. You put Hoerner at shortstop, and you just make that adjustment. Let's say you were to bring in Hoerner and Bellinger, and that's your position player off season, whatever it may be. I don't know. You look at the defense. When you go into the postseason, you compare yourself to the Dodgers, you compare yourself to the Blue Jays, you're gonna hit more home runs than them. You're gonna get on base more than them.
Mm-hmm.
When a ground ball is put into play, you're more likely to turn that ground ball into an out than they are. When a fly ball is hit, you're more likely to catch that fly ball than they are. When so that, like, the Yankees position player group with Hoerner and Bellinger would be not even close. No one is close to as good as that. And I know that maybe people would disagree and say, no, you're overrating this group. Sorry. No, I'm not. That's how good that group would be. Because again, you look at the infield, as you mentioned, every ground ball is fielded. Almost every play is made. Outfield.
Bro.
I know Grisham doesn't have the range, but he's a very smart defensive outfielder. I didn't feel like he was an eyesore outside of when he was dealing with the hamstring injury. I think he's fine out there.
What do you think about the baggy pants, though?
Ooh, I kind of dig it.
I don't like the baggy pants.
Really?
I don't like the baggy pants. He makes him look lazy because he looks like he's wearing like sweatpants, like running out there. Like I need like
the vibe.
It's his vibe, and I respect.
Yeah, it's the vibe. It's the aura.
It doesn't look very Yankee-like. Like Yankee players always have like skin tight like uniforms.
That's like a pitcher thing though. Like pitchers,
True.
I think pitchers, if you're a starting pitcher or relief pitcher, you have to have tight legs or tight pants because you got big legs. You got to show it off, right? It's like
I feel like he does squats.
He probably has like strong legs. I'm just saying, I think it's more of a pitcher thing. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, maybe right.
But again, like Grisham's just very much, his whole persona is just like, I look like I'm lazy, but I work my tail off. I've never like had an issue with Grisham's hustle. He just looks like, as you mentioned, he'll catch a fly ball and it's like, dude, you're jogging. It's like, no, he's just gliding to the ball.
He's gliding. He's like on ice skates out there.
It's like a magnet almost, where it's like, it drifts towards him, or he drifts towards the ball.
Who's like what player was like the most enjoyable to watch play the outfield? Because I know my answer, like, off rip.
In general, like my entire Yankee life, or
just like I guess let's say over the last like 5-6 years, like the outfield it's just fun to watch them play.
I'll be honest. I think Harrison Bader was like,
that's what I was gonna say.
Harrison Bader,
he actually glides like that dude. He's like floating on air. It's unbelievable watching him play.
And I'll say, I think Bellinger is number 2. Like
he's like sneaky good though. He's like sneaky.
No, for sure. He has. What I think I like is he's a left fielder. Gardner. Oh, someone mentioned Gardner just now. I was going to say Gardner too. Gardner's up there. But I think Bader's my number 1. I think Bader's 1.1 for me.
He's very, very fun to watch. But going back to a comment that you made before, of course, we actually interviewed Bernie Williams. Great.
Yeah, Bernie. Yeah, I legit, like, I kind of was too young to like really watch him in his heyday.
Yeah,
that's legitimately it. Like, that's not even a diss on. I legit was too young to watch.
I still remember that far back anymore, man.
I do want to ask with the shortstop position, and I don't know how you feel about this. I wanted to get your thoughts before I kind of talk about this. Bo Bichette is a free agent. He's a shortstop. Are you a signed Bo Bichette guy? I think I saw like his contracts might be closer to $200 million. Is that something you're into? Is that something that you're rocking with or not?
He's another like all or nothing kind of offense or nothing player. You know, I mean, the defense at shortstop is bad, right? It's very
it's
bad.
legit. It's turbo dog shit.
It's turbo dog shit. So like, again, you could put him at short. You're gonna have to live with turbo dog shit until he maybe goes and plays second if Jazz leaves. And then you have George Lombard Jr. like ready to assume that shortstop position like in 2027. So like that's a possibility. But I definitely think when it comes to Bo, he's so good offensively. He's so good at making contact. He's so hard to get out. Man, having him play alongside Judge and Bellinger, the middle of our order would be a freaking hellhole to get through. It would just be like everybody you face is just going to punish you, right? I mean, guys, you know we love Ben Rice here. We are a Ben Rice supporting podcast, like 2028, 2029, like Ben Rice for president. But I don't think people really truly understand how good he was this past season.
No, I agree. He was awesome.
Like people do not understand how unlucky he got. He was hitting fucking piss missiles at outfielders right at them, like 110 off the bat. This dude is going to be a monster next season. Like straight up, he might be our second best hitter behind Judge next year, and he's going to be one of the best up and coming offensive players. He already is. Just such a fun player to watch.
And I also want to say this with Bichette, like $200 million is just not it for me. I'm just not willing to pay him $200 million to
the regression. If he regresses offensively, you're basically getting zero value.
He's also been hurt so much. And as you mentioned, it's very much banking on, oh, please remain an elite hitter. If not, you're not close. Like you are 1 year away from a good offensive player who cannot carry the weight outside of that. If you put up, let's say, a 115 OPS plus, that would be brutal. Like that would be really, really bad.
Gives me Ellsbury vibes.
Yeah, that would be
you're buying at the top. Like feels like you're buying at the top. You know what I mean? Like it's only down from there.
It feels, this is he runs like he's wearing ice skates. He's slow.
Oh, he's been getting slow.
Yeah, he is slow, man. He's slow, dude. And that's that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's just not my thing. And, that's, again, I think there's a team where that works for, or a team that has an open second base position. And I'm not replacing Jazz with Bo either. I know they're both, like, Bo's a bigger name and he's more consistent on a year-to-year basis, but I don't have to make a $200 million commitment to Jazz, and he's a better athlete.
Yeah.
And
we need Jazz. I think people underrate Jazz.
I agree.
And I also think people underrate just how much energy he brought to this team in big moments. Like, it was infectious at times with his aura, as the kids are saying. But, like, I do think that Jazz Chisholm is an extremely effective player. I do think that he is a really fun player to watch. I can't count how many times he made it home in an aggressive base running move or like stole a bag. Like, did just things that this team needed him to do. Not to mention he stole 30 and hit 30 home runs. Like, if he stays fully healthy a full year, he had a couple of injuries this past season. If he plays a full healthy year, Jazz Chisholm is going to be an all-star easily. Like that's kind of how I see his upside. We just saw the first season of him playing in a place he actually wants to play. He hated playing in Miami. Like, now we got first season with the Yankees. I'm thinking year two might just be as good if he stays healthy, if not better. So I think people really underrate just how valuable he is. I think he is someone I would consider extending. I just have to see the price tag.
No, and I agree, first and foremost, in regard to like having at least an extension conversation. Jazz was the third or second best second baseman in baseball, depending on what version of wins above replacement you use. He was very impactful on a game-to-game basis. He provides value even when he's not hitting because of the glove and the running. And when we talk about some of the other players in this video, there are not a lot of players who do that. There's like the list of infielders who can do that is a very short list. You've got guys who are really good defenders. You've got someone like a Ryan McMahon who's a really good defender, but he can't really hit and he's not a great base runner. You want to look at the great defenders and base runner types, like Volpe in 24 was a really good defender and base runner. Couldn't really hit that year. There was not a lot, or Glaber, for example, could hit for most of his Yankee career, couldn't run, couldn't play defense. So Jazz is this combination where he checks all three boxes. He's above average in all three phases of the game for a position player. And I simply believe that I think people are overlooking what second base would look like without Jazz Chisholm and the questions you ask yourself without Jazz Chisholm. And
Brendan Donovan, I guess, is the answer in that
right.
case.
And, the thing I would ask is, For next year, look, in free agency, Nico Hoerner's going to hit free agency the same year as him. If the Yankees were to acquire Donovan, he'd be on the roster. Like, that's a different conversation. Free agency, I think, is a different conversation. But for right now, he's on your team. I don't see a reason to try and cash in and get rid of him just to shake things up. He doesn't feel like the guy you shake things up with. I would shake things up with. I'll take my pick at a lot of players. I'd rather not bring Bellinger back if the goal was, if shaking it up was really that important. The Yankees really felt like they had to do it. I'm not giving up on $9 million for Jazz Chisholm without getting a piece that helps me now, not prospects, a piece that helps me right now. And I see a lot of comments saying this, and I fully agree with this. This comment was one that I like a lot. Fans thinking Volpe's job is 100% secure because of Cashman. Got to be one of the biggest misconceptions right now. Shortstop has no available options now. The guys you were talking about are not primary shortstops. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Volpe is here because, or a set in stone starter because the Yankees wouldn't want to upgrade. It's because, as it's mentioned, it takes creative solutions. It takes, hey, are the Cubs going to trade a guy who finished first on the team in Baseball Reference War on their roster? Are the Cardinals going to give us Donovan, and can Donovan play shortstop? Volpe is not protected as much as it is. There's not a shortstop option out there. Like, is there a shortstop in free agency that you go, oh yeah, need him? Like, Ha-Seong Kim's out there. He's hurt. I don't know what he's going to give me,
Yeah, I mean, right now I think that the Yankees are probably thinking, can we skirt by with average performance at shortstop in 2026 and then turn to George? I think that's probably what their first default option is. George Lombard Jr. is going to be the guy in 2027 if Volpe doesn't have some meteoric rise this year. The alternatives are you trade for someone like Donovan, you trade for guys that just aren't natural shortstops, all of them. Or you try to get a veteran but those are usually expensive and you don't really want that dead weight. So the Yankees are kind of positioned oddly where it's like, there's not a natural fit. They know Volpe is a great defender when he is healthy, but I can't watch him hit anymore. Like, I don't know about you, Ryan, but every time I watch the Yankees play, Anthony Volpe's swing changes slightly. Yeah. And how on earth, like, you go up and you watch Aaron Judge, this dude's swing is the exact same every single at bat. There is never a change. And if it is, it's so purposeful and with so much intention to, fix something. Volpe's swing is different. His hips fly open, his hips are closed, his shoulders are like, his hands are too high or not. It's like there's always something wrong with his swing, and he's always trying to fix something. I think he needs to pick a swing that works best for him and stick to it, because he's always trying to change something. So I think that's where he's finding a lot of problems. Like, he's overcompensating. And like we've talked about this before, he sells out for power. And when he does that, his contact rates plummet. So he hits some home runs every now and again on a hanging curveball, but he's going to strike out a lot more and he's going to make a lot worse contact. And then he switches it back and goes like to a contact phase, and then the home runs drop, but the contact is oftentimes ground balls. He's not putting it in the air. So like, he can't find that perfect combination. And having a partially torn labrum obviously it doesn't help, but he was doing this before then. He was doing this not this past season, but the season before that too. Changing up his swing all the time. So this is not just an injury related thing, in my opinion. With that being said, I do think that they're probably going to commit to him and Jose Caballero as the default backup. And they're going to ride it out for one more year because they don't want to risk anything. And they know that George, if he gets the offense right, if his bat comes around this year, he's going to be ready for a promotion. He's already a Gold Glove defender on day one.
The one thing I will say with Volpe is I just need him to play his position well. Because let's look at, like, I'm going to pull up his 2024 season here. 2024, 3.5 wins above replacement. 3.5 wins above replacement. That's all I need. Offense, putrid. This sucks. This is a terrible slash line. We're 3.5 WAR. Why? 28 steals. Elite base runner. Elite defense. That's all I need. Everything else, like the offense, it's a cherry on top if the guy hits.
I'm gonna be honest though, like, you could make that same argument for George today.
That's fair, but I think like the difference is that a guy who's never gotten past AA and struggled a little bit there be like, when I say bad, like this is a bad slash line, there is a gap
like
between
Peraza
bad. Peraza, like yes. Actually, that's a very good example. Anthony Volpe is a bad big league hitter. He is a below average bad big league hitter. Oswald Peraza is turbo dog
unplayable.
shit. Right. He's turbo. He's
Unplayable.
unplayable, turbo dog shit. Like he is not a major league baseball player. And I know I'm going to get comments like, well, Volpe isn't either. No. There's such a difference. There's such a difference. You don't notice the difference until you watch a player. When you watch a player like that play baseball, then you notice the difference. Watching Oswald Peraza and Yorbit Vivas be a platoon for a couple of weeks when they cut LeMahieu and Jazz the second baseman was some of the worst baseball I've ever watched in my life. Those two guys sucked, dude. They were so bad. It was, you know what, Alex, let me kind of put it like this, okay? Brian Dable is probably not a good coach. He's not a good coach. He's a bad coach. Joe Judge was like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Brian Dable's just another bad coach. Joe Judge is
turbo.
Like it's a different level of bad. You know, it's a different level of bad.
It's like QB sneaking it on 3rd and 9.
Or I'll make another football example. It's like JJ McCarthy and like I don't know, JJ McCarthy and like Joe Flacco's like not bad. He's not bad right now.
He was nasty back in his day.
Aaron Rodgers and right now and JJ McCarthy right now. Aaron Rodgers is not good right now. He's not a good NFL quarterback anymore. JJ McCarthy is one of the worst quarterbacks of all time right now. Like they're a level. I've been dogging on him a lot. I feel really bad. He's like my punching bag for thinking of absolute horseshit players.
Kind of everybody right now. Everyone's dogging this dude.
Right, but like drawing this all back to Volpe, this is the number I pay attention to. This is the number I pay attention to, and this is the number I pay attention to for Volpe. You're running the bases well. You're playing good defense. That's all I need. That's what I need. Everything else is a plus. That's how I look at Anthony Volpe. And whether that ends up happening or not remains to be seen. If Volpe is not a good defensive shortstop anymore, or not good, if he's not an elite defensive shortstop the way he was in 24, then yes, you have to. It's not even just you have to move on at the end of the year. At the deadline, you call up the Cubs and you go, hey, are you guys struggling? Let's get Nico Hoerner. Who's out there on the market? Can the Cardinals trade Mason Wynn? Like you're making phone calls because he can't play if he just isn't an elite defensive shortstop. As suggested by, 2023 was like a 2-win player. Not good enough. Shortstop, you need like a 2.5, 3-WAR player. This past year, obviously not even close to good enough. The defense, look at the defensive regression, man. This is bad. This is concerning.
Really bad.
But again, the year before, this is an elite defensive shortstop outcome. Jeremy Pena, I just don't see it.
And a healthy Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
Well, not even healthy. He was like partially healthy with 93 innings we got out of him, something like that.
Let me kind of compare to like rest of the positions too at shortstop. We're going to just do all shortstops. Like Volpe was 15th out of 79. It's not really fair because let's put just qualified actually, because that's like overstating it. He was a middle of the pack shortstop in 24, and they went to the World Series.
Crazy.
They went to the World Series because if you get a middle of the pack shortstop outcome, you can go to the World Series. But if you're getting a bottom percentile, which is what they got this year, right? Wasn't Volpe like the worst everyday shortstop, the second worst everyday shortstop in baseball?
Yep.
This can't work. This isn't going to work. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to touch on with Mr. Volpe here.
In terms of what I project for him, I do think that they're going to ride it out one more year, like I said before. The problem is like he doesn't have enough power to be a power hitter without compromising his swing mechanics.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have enough good contact to be a contact hitter. So like, what is he? Like I think that was the weird thing. Someone said it before. In the minors, his swing was crispy.
Yeah, it was
like a fresh chicken tender, like crispy.
Find this.
And I don't know why they tried to turn him into a power hitter instead of embracing what made him so effective in the minors. They just changed it for no reason. And I feel like that was such a backwards move. They needed more good contact, and now they're still having him try to sell out for power because they know like, okay, we need more home runs from shortstop, whatever it might be. But I feel like they've just gone too far with him. Maybe
the issue is that 24 year he sold out for contact and it didn't work. Like the issue is that, as you mentioned this, like he doesn't do either well. He doesn't balance. He has no idea how to do either right now. And I see a lot, and I think it's a good segue point because I see a lot of people saying Wells is in that group as well. I disagree. I think
Wells is elite, dude. His defense is straight up elite.
That is apples to oranges. That is apples to oranges to compare Volpe to Wells. That is not a conversation. That is not a conversation. I'm sorry. I don't mean to, like, I know Wells is my guy and like I like Austin Wells, but let's kind of look at the catching wins above replacement situation. He was a very good catcher relative to the rest of the league. Very good relative. Like Rice is listed as a primary catcher. He's not a primary catcher. Wells was a 10th best catcher in terms of wins over replacement this past year.
His framing is phenomenal.
Yeah, look at the defensive value he provided. He was 4th in defensive value this year at the catching position. 4th.
Dude, I'm going to be honest. I think that his offense is going to come around. I do think that like he's got the defense down. Like every day he's giving you elite defense. And I think if he can get that swing back, make a little bit more contact, not chase as much, and he starts to put it all together, we see flashes of it. I've multiple times a year, he'll go on like a 2 or 3 week span where he's fucking on fire. And it's like, okay, where is that guy? I need that guy all the time. I think he has the work ethic to get there.
And also, Alex, I want you see this number here. A lot of really good defensive data, right? Really good defense, right? Look at the WRC plus numbers next to it. Let's look at the top 15 guys. 85, 77, 120, 41, 41, 41, 117. Good. 97, 79, 97, 77, 161. This guy finished MVP too. 51. Catchers suck at hitting. Catchers stink at hitting. They're awful. The league average catcher had a 94 WRC plus and a 696 OPS. Wells last year had a 94 WRC plus and a 712 OPS. Even in a year where he was not good enough offensively compared to what we're used to seeing, he was still better than a league average catcher offensively. And he was still a top 10 catcher. And I know the ABS is a thing and it's going to affect catching X, Y, and Z. Sure. But framing is still the most important thing in baseball. It's the most important defensive trait for any catcher in the sport. And when people go like, oh, well, you can trade him and go get JT Realmuto. Let's pull up where's Realmuto on this? Because this is not qualified catchers.
Yeah. That's
first page. Second page, you see Realmuto yet?
No.
Let's see. Where are we? Where is he? Third page. Maybe I skip by him. That's definitely possible. Where is JT Realmuto? Actually, wait.
Where is Waldo? Where is JT Realmuto?
No, I did lose him. He was on the first page. He was on the first page. He was right here. Sorry. JT Realmuto was 25th. 25th. Big gap in defense. Offense, 94 WRC plus. What about Wells? 94 WRC plus.
I like to point out, by the way, the Yankees traded all that big pipeline of catching talent that we had. We traded like all of them, and they're all bad defenders for the most part.
I think so. Narvaez is very good. The guy they shipped out.
Augustin Ramirez is so bad. He so bad.
Ramirez's issue is the glove. He can hit, and I do think
he can hit.
The Gus bust.
2 homers against us in a game.
Dude, he hit them both off Cam Schlittler. Dude, I remember that game because we were getting swept in Miami. And I remember seeing this game. And I'm just like, why am I watching baseball today? But like, dude, Ramirez, the Gus bus. The Gus bus is not very good, but the Gus bus is not rolling behind the dish. Offensively, love him though. But with that being said, dude, I don't understand the like Wells hate. Now you can say, man, I wish he had a better year. Look at among catchers, man. He finished 7th in home runs among catchers. 7th. Right? Let's say catchers with 300 plate appearances this year or 400.
How many homers did he hit?
He hit 21.
21. I'm going to go out on a limb and say next year, if he stays healthy, he's going to hit 30.
I think it's possible. It might be possible he hits 25 or 26, and that wouldn't be a huge improvement. It's still going to help. The Yankees, they're very good at evaluating catchers. There's a reason why teams, as you mentioned, trade for them. The Yankees give away catchers like candy, and teams are like, wow, I like this catcher. I should keep trading with the Yankees. I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of people underrate how hard it is to find a consistent catcher. Through 2 years with the Yankees, look at the wins above replacement, man. 6th. Sixth, it's Smith, Kirk, Bailey, Contreras, Raleigh. That's it. Only guy's better over that stretch. Sorry, that's my guy. That's my guy until if it was a bat, like Volpe's issue that I think you and I both had was that the defense was gone last year. I actually think I wouldn't have really talked much about Volpe in a negative manner if the glove was still there. I think a lot of people overstated the hatred for Volpe in 24. 25, it became justified. He couldn't field his position at the way he should.
We saw the verse version of him.
Yes, we saw Volpe stink in both aspects of the game. Wells, and this is a good point. This is a really good point. If the Yankees were to offer Austin Wells to a team, they would get a huge haul and a bunch of interest. I would guarantee you that like 20 MLB teams would call the Yankees for Austin Wells. 20.
Oh, yeah.
Let's actually, I'm going to use this to rattle off. Blue Jays won't call. Orioles, I think, would call at this point because Adley Rutschman is not good anymore, and he's cheaper than Rutschman. Rays would call. Red Sox would call. He's better than Narvaez. Guardians would call. Royals, I think with Carter Jensen, they won't call. He's their like young new catcher. He's pretty good, but like they might. Tigers won't call. Dingler's good. Twins would call. White Sox would call. Angels would call. Astros would call. The Mariners would not call. Just to say the very least. The Rangers would call. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in the AL who wouldn't call you. 5 out of the 14 possible teams you could trade him to. What about the NL East? Marlins would take him. Mets might take him. I don't think they would, but maybe. Nationals would. Phillies would. Cardinals would. Cubs would. Pirates would. Reds would. Giants, I don't think so because Bailey's a really good defender, but they might. Padres definitely fucking would. Rockies definitely would. I know they have Hunter Goodman. He's not as good of a defender as Wells. They would push Goodman off the position. More than half the league's calling you about Austin Wells, man. When people go, he's terrible, more than half the league is calling and going, what's it going to take? How many top prospects am I trading? He would do it. They would trade for Austin Wells.
Yeah. We have a really good catcher situation. Then you have, I mean, if you factor Ben Rice as the backup, which I estimate he is right now, maybe they'll bring in, I mean, they have Escara as well, but Ben Rice is obviously so valuable. It's definitely going to be a fun offseason to see how the Yankees try to tool this team back up because you really need, look, I know like someone asked Cashman recently, do you understand you have to build around Aaron Judge in his prime right now? And he was like, yeah, like I'm just trying to build a good team. Like, that has never been more real than right now. Like, he is 33 years old. The Yankees need to go all out to win a chip, or we're talking about the legacy of Steinbrenner, Cashman's legacy with this recent stretch of 10 years, this decade, is going to be defined by what he does right now. So I think you have to capitalize on Judge's prime, or you are going to have it's going to be so much harder in like 3 or 4 years.
For sure. But I know you have to go. I know you have to run, Alex. Is there anything you want to end off on before we dip?
No, I just appreciate you guys. All the comments are fantastic. Love reacting to everybody. And if you guys have been in here and aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to the Fireside Yankees YouTube and hit that smash that like button below for us just to get our likes up. Really appreciate everyone to tune in. But I'll catch you guys later, Ryan. Sayonara.
Alex, really appreciate it, man.
Tomorrow, bro.
That was Alex Wilson of Fireside Giants, the one, and Fireside Yankees, Empire Sports Media, CEO, founder, the whole 9 yards. He is the El Jefe, El Capitan. Alex, have a good night, man. Appreciate it, dog.
Peace out.
All right, so let's keep rolling here for a little bit. We're going to roll for about another 10 minutes-ish. We'll answer some questions. I know I didn't get to everybody's questions, so if you want to shoot some questions in, let's start rolling with some questions. If you have anything, I'm going to scroll back up in the chat, and I'm going to start kind of peeling into stuff that I noticed as questions from recently. Remember Chisholm's comments in spring training? How many double plays did Volpe and Chisholm turn? This is actually an issue that they had. They did not do a good job of turning double plays at a high level this year. And it sounds a little bit weird to say that because, yeah, it's weird, but Yankees, they were 25th in double plays. 25th in double plays. If you look at double play value, and we've got a Zod TV add to the Yankee budget. We're poor right now. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the super chat. I'll let Hal know. So the Yankees, in terms of double play value, third worst. Oh, wrong tab. Third worst. They're third worst in double play value. They did not do a good job turning double plays. It was not a good double play duo. And I think a lot of that has to do with, some of these guys, you look at like, it's not always reflective on, it's not always reflective of a infield quality. Like the Mets are here, and McNeil and Lindor are really good defenders. Granted, both have taken a step back from their peak days, but they're still good defenders. I personally think this can be an issue when it comes to maybe it's continuity, maybe it's looking for the right term here. Oh, okay, maybe it's makeup. Sometimes like it felt like Volpe kind of the errors compounded as he made more errors as the year went on. If he made like the errors kind of started all coming in bunches, and then it finally turned itself around by the time the postseason rolled around. But they were a bad double play duo that definitely needs to be worked on. And I'm going to be honest, that's why. Look, if like a Nico Hoerner was available, I'm putting him at shortstop, and I'm making that a need. The Yankees do not turn double plays enough. Look at the two teams that went to the World Series this year. Blue Jays, Dodgers. Very good. Very, very, very good at turning double plays. And we got more love from Fireside Giants. Let's go Giants, baby. Let's go Jackson Dart. Let's go Camp Scattaboo. Brian Burns is super tough. That guy's a stud. Abdul Carter, unfortunately, not great conduct off field, but I think he's going to be pretty good one day. But getting, again, like middle infield duo was not good enough defensively. I think Jazz is a good defender. I think this, again, is more of a Volpe issue. If we kind of look at player stats here, let's look at the Yankees. Fire Joe Shane, I agree. Yanks need to do the deferred payments game. I agree. Is it Zig? Zig, I would agree. Let's go Yankees. Would really love a Marte or Hoerner plus Tucker. Would be a great addition to the team. If they did like Hoerner and Tucker, which I think is feasible, at least should be feasible for the freaking New York Yankees, that would be one of the best teams in baseball. Trying to see if I can find I realize it's going to be qualified defense. Let's see. 200 innings. Is that going to get me? Do they not have double play data? Okay, there we go. Yeah, these two were, double play data is also, you got to think, it relies on the other. So like if Jazz Chisholm's, if they don't turn two, it's going to negatively affect Jazz Chisholm. Is not going to sign blame on either side. So I do wonder if there's a way to look at that. What do we got here? Hold on. I listened to Fireside Giants and smashed the like button and immediately tore my ACL. I'll be put on IR tomorrow. Appreciate that, Ryan. Really appreciate that, man. That'd be sick. That's hilarious. Okay, so let me recap for those just joining. Jeff Passan mentioned in an article, Jason Minguez is a player to note that he could be traded. He is a trade candidate this offseason. Also listed the Yankees as a fit for Tarek Skubal, Brendan Donovan, Mackenzie Gore, and I forgot who else. I'm gonna have to check actually. Who was the fourth? Was there a fourth player to this? And Edward Cabrera. So Yankees, there is a chance they trade for one of those four players, because if Passan calls you a fit, at least means you called, I imagine, right? That means you called. The Yankees are, Jeff Passan's on his game. He's a stud. Do I believe in the adjustments that Caballero made? I think that there was a lot of luck there. He struggled to hit the ball harder. Or to hit the ball hard still, but the quantity of contact improved and the quality of contact improved. I don't think he's a 134 WRC plus guy, but do I think that he improved himself to a point where, he could be a better hitter than he was in 24, let's say, or before he was a Yankee, where he had an 84 WRC plus? Sure, he had a 9.5% barrel rate. Swinging strike rate went down from 11% to 9.2%. So I do think that's there, but you also have to think the swing decisions getting worse isn't a great sign there. Not sure if that's small sample size or whatever it may be. Average EV took a big jump there. Hard hit rate took a big jump there. So Jose Caballero, 315 expected weighted on base average. He was a league average process guy, but it's only 95 plate appearances. So how much of that can you take into stock? That's kind of where I look at the Yankees and go, I'm not sure that Caballero actually is a better player, but the underlyings were better. His process was better with the Yankees, but again, it's 95 plate appearances. Very hard for me to sit here and tell you that 95 plate appearances means that you are a better player. And I just want to say, we have over 10,000 viewers in here. So if you're listening to this, like and subscribe. Holy shit. Oh my God. That's a lot of people. Can't really believe that there are this many people here. If you guys if we can get to the point, and I don't know how to monitor this. If you guys get I'm gonna have to find a way to monitor this. Give me 1 second before I finish my sentence. Because I want to make sure I can monitor this. And I'm not kind of selling you all short here. Let's see. Yeah, this is tied to the likes. This is tied to the likes. If we get to 100 likes, we're at 90 right now. If we get to 100 likes, I'll go for 30 minutes longer. If we can get to 100 likes, I'll get us 30 minutes longer. So run up the like button. We're one away, but run it up. And if we get the more we increase that button, subscribe. If you just liked and you're not subscribed, subscribe. Like, let's get that number up. Let's pump these numbers up, fellas. I really appreciate it. We're gonna keep answering questions. I'm gonna start we're just rattling off question, and we're at 109, so we're gonna keep rolling. You guys get me to 150. We're gonna get to the point where we might go for another hour if we get to 150. I got my coffee. Let's keep it freaking rolling. And Duar's brutal on defense. Yep, he's brutal on defense, but I do think his ability to hit lefties is solid. I'm a fan of that, so we'll kind of see where that goes. But I don't think he'd be a terrible addition for the bench. He just wouldn't be my pick personally, Drew. Edward Cabrera. Let's talk some Edward Cabrera real quick. Edward Cabrera listed as a fit, and I just X'd out of sharing my screen. Edward Cabrera listed as a fit for the Yankees. I shared the wrong screen, but that's okay. That's Tatsuya Imai. We won't talk about him very much because I talk about him all the time. Edward Cabrera, he put up a 3.53 ERA. He struck out 25.8% of batters faced. He had an 8.3% walk rate. So he was a really effective starting pitcher, probably number 2-ish starter based on these numbers last year. Stuff is really good. Stuff plus 105. And then the location. Look at this location. This location plus is, it went from firmly below average to above average. Look at the walk rate. Guy who walked in his career, I think it was, it's 13.3% of batters faced. Only walked 8.3% of them. That's a big uptick in performance. Cabrera's ability to mix things up was better. Let's look at the zone rates and the chase rates here. In terms of like first pitch strike percentage, first pitch strike rate, 62.7%, highest mark of his career. 56.8% was his career number before that. Sorry, just trying to keep that rolling here. Chase rate wasn't much higher, but contact rate was a little bit lower than the career average. So Edward Cabrera, much better at just getting ahead in the zone. And when you get ahead, you get more chases. That's kind of the MO for pitching. You get ahead, you get more chases, more called strikes, probably, taking advantage more of his ability to, throw wicked stuff with wicked movement and get those swings and misses that you're looking for and get those called strikes and steal those strikes that you're looking for. So big fan of that. I'm a big fan of Edward Cabrera. Not sure that he's going to be worth the trade price tag. There are some injuries concerns here. Look at the injury concerns. Has never thrown over 100 innings at the major league level up until this past year. No more than 26 starts. That's a concern. Is the command a one-year fluke? Is it a permanent thing? Command is very fluky on a year-to-year basis. Even bad command guys can be a solid command guy for 1 year. So that's part of that. Let's kind of roll with, and we talked about Mackenzie Gore a little bit. Kind of want to touch up on a little bit of the combo with Jason. Actually, no. We're going to keep answering questions. We'll have enough time to get there. For Kyle Tucker, let's talk some Kyle Tucker because I see a lot of Kyle Tucker questions. Let's kind of here. Okay, we'll look at this first. Do you think the Yankees will actually go after Imai, or do you think that they cheap out and trust the process of an old veteran or who we have now? So, Nick, I know they want to go after Imai and that they're going to pursue Imai and that there's mutual interest there. Imai would like to be a Yankee. Imai would like to be a Yankee if possible. Not saying he'd only want to be a Yankee. That's not the case. He can be a Yankee. He's someone who would enjoy being a Yankee. The Yankees are on his list of teams he's willing to go to, and he's a player, and the Yankees like him. They like Tatsuya Imai. So I do believe that Tatsuya Imai is a player the Yankees will be going after. Maybe they don't outbid, and at that point, I guess they'd be cheaping out. But me personally, I think the Yankees are a team where they'll have an aggressive number for him. They'll have one of the better bids, and I think they can get the player. He's a good player. He's a good pitcher. I like the stuff, and I think the Yankees are going to be in a situation where, again, they need a starting pitcher. Imai is that starting pitcher. He's a unique opportunity. We'll see how time kind of goes there. But I do think Tatsuya Imai is a possibility for the Yankees. Cafe Bustelo. No, this is Tim Horton coffee from the gas station. I filled up my car with gas because I have to travel a little bit tomorrow, doing a broadcast for a radio station and doing my radio show on old WWR, Old Westbury Web Radio, the website, OWWRNY. You can check us out at 12. I'm going to go live there, talk general MLB stuff for about an hour. I'm going to figure out the call feature so people can call me. But that's the coffee of choice, Tim Hortons. But we do have Cafe Bustelo in the house. That's what I drink when I brew my own coffee and when I want to have hot coffee usually. We need contact hitters that put the ball in play and a pitcher with swing and miss stuff, bottom line. I do think the Yankees could benefit from more contact in the lineup. But I definitely agree that more swing and miss. You always want to be able to miss bats. Winning the strikeout and home run battle, if you can do both in a playoff series, I think you can win the playoff series. So that'll be a really good idea. I like that. Ryan, why do I feel like bringing Cody back and getting Amai won't be enough? I'd like Tucker and Amai, and please trade your top prospects for Tatis and maybe try him out at short again, or Nico Hoerner. So Tatis, it's not happening. Yankees aren't going out and getting Tatis because the Padres aren't trading Tatis. I'm sure if he was available, the Yankees would have interest, but they're not going to trade him, that being the Padres. And then let's quickly talk about Tatis, Tucker, and Bellinger. Look, Bellinger's not better than Kyle Tucker. I've said it ad nauseum. Is it ad nauseum or at nauseum? I think it's ad nauseum. Sorry. And I love Kyle Tucker, and I think Kyle Tucker is a great player, and he's a better player than Bellinger. But I do think Cody Bellinger is a good player, and that shouldn't get lost in translation when I talk about Cody Bellinger. Let's look at Cody Bellinger a little bit here, because I do think we're kind of overlooking that Bellinger's good. Bellinger's a good player. Like, he's not a bad player, he's not a great player, but he's a good player. 116 projected WRC plus, 781 projected OPS. If you use the Yankee ballpark factor, I'm sure this number is going to go up from 116 to around 120. So Steamer actually thinks that he's going to be about the same player, maybe slightly worse than he was this past year offensively. And that's actually a difference from his 2023, where he was projected to get a lot worse after 23. Part of that ballpark, not as good for his swing. It was an unsustainable form of offense. And I do think 25 Bellinger's a little bit unsustainable as well, but not to the degree that 23 Bellinger was. And if you can bring him in, you bring in Amai, you bring in relief pitching, you can be in a really good spot. And if you want to trade for a shortstop, and try and trade for an infielder, a lot easier to make that fit into whatever budget Hal has with a Nico Hoerner than it would be, with a Cody Bellinger than it would be with a Kyle Tucker. So I look at Cody Bellinger, I look at him and I go, he's a good player. I want Tucker more. I think Tucker's the guy. That's the guy you should get. He's really awesome. But Cody Bellinger's still a good player. And the issue I have with Bellinger is, don't love the contract. Don't love the contract idea. I don't love the idea of giving him 6 years. Don't love it. I think that contract's going to suck after year 3. I prefer a 5-year deal where you get like 1 or 2 shitty years of Cody Bellinger, and you get 3 years of really good Bellinger. And that's the kind of player I would want. Not what you would get in a 6-year deal. That's not really my thing. This is a great question by Nate Games, and we asked this on FSY as well, where we had essentially proposed the question of Belly and Amai or Tucker or Alcantara. I would rather Tucker and Alcantara. I think Alcantara is slightly worse than Amai, but I think Tucker is clearly better than Bellinger. So I would take Tucker and Alcantara, and I would take that and run with it. I think that's the better option. In terms of long-term money, you're only adding 1 long-term contract. Alcantara can actually be let go after 2026 if he's not effective. You have a club option on him, and if you look at what Alcantara would do, he's someone who is going to at least make his 30 starts. Good pitcher, I think. The command was not good. We kind of broke this down in a previous live stream, but I can do that again real quick and kind of give you the TLDR on why I think Alcantara can be a good player, a good pitcher once again. He's struggled with location. Look at the location plus year to year. 101, career low. It was 105, 103, 105, 104. Always a plus command guy from 2020 to 2023. Always a plus command guy. Always a plus command guy. Then if you look at his 2025 season, he was not a plus command guy for most of the year. He was actually a below average command guy for a good chunk of the year. Let's look at the first 19 starts here. Location plus 99, or not 19. Sorry. I'm trying to get 19. Sorry. 99 location plus, below average command guy. That's not, Alcantara can't be a below average command guy and work. What was his ERA over this stretch? His ERA 7.14, FIP 4.70, strikeout to walk rate. Look at that walk rate. Gross. Over 3.6 walks per 9. That's disgusting. That's not Sandy like. 8.9% walk rate, 16.7% strikeout rate. This is a dog shit pitcher. This is what he was when the command was bad. And the command down the stretch. 103 location plus. The location plus was above average again. ERA 3.13, FIP 3.75, strikeout to walk rate 16.6%. That's a good strikeout to walk rate. Not great, but good. Good xFIP, good skill interactive ERA. Key performance indicator said he's a good pitcher. ERA said he was a great pitcher over this stretch. Location. When Sandy Alcantara cannot locate the baseball, he is terrible. When he can locate the baseball, muy bueno. Very, 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 very good. When it's not the case, muy terrible. When the case, muy bueno. And then you look at the fastball velocity, upticked down the stretch a little bit as well. Not to a massive degree, but first few starts, I mean, there's a 95.9 mile per hour fastball velocity in here. This is, oh man, this was a rocky start for his season. I mean, he was not throwing as hard as he did down the stretch. Even if you want to look at like this sample of the year, and I know he wasn't great after this first 6 start to his season, but an 8.31 ERA, a 5.64 FIP. I mean, the strikeout to walk percentage, guys, it was in the single digits. He was absolutely horrendous to start the year, and the velo was gone. Then you kind of look at the rest of the year, not a good pitcher, but an above average FIP, a league average strikeout to walk rate, an above average X FIP. His underlying metrics were average to above average after, the location, after the velo came back. So for Sandy Alcantara, he is a guy who's very much reliant on command, on velocity. He had to figure it out as the season went on. So is 2026 the season where already figured everything out? He's good. Now he can roll from there. And no, this is not clickbait. This is a Jeff. Look. Let's look right here. I'm just not talking about it right now because we're an hour plus into the stream. I moved on to things. This is Jeff Passan. Let me clarify with you guys. What does this say at the top? Let's everyone read this together. Jeff Passan. I mean, and Kyler McDaniel. But this is Jeff Passan, right? Let's look at this. Potential trade ranking the players who could be traded. We look at Jason Dominguez. 15 more can move. That's Jason Dominguez. Same article, right? Look. I'm scrolling up to make sure. Same article. And Jason's on here. He said Jason get traded. So that is not. I'm saying that is exactly what he talked about. And he mentioned the Yankees' fits in here. And I didn't get the threads up, but he did also put it on threads that if the Yankees were to sign Bellinger, sources were telling him that they're going to trade an outfielder. So that's the Jeff Passan big news on the outfield, that Jason is a real trade target. That's not a fake thing. That is a real thing. He is a real trade target candidate. And for the fits thing, Yankees predicted as fits for Mackenzie Gore, Tarek Skubal, Brendan Donovan, and Edward Cabrera. Donovan 75% trade probability, so most likely got to get traded here. I did pay Jeff. You're right. You got me. I paid Jeff Passan so I can make this video. I got motion like that. I got money like that. I got motion, fellas. I got motion. Trust me. Let's look. Oh, outfield defense was a question about the outfield defense here. How concerning is a Tucker Trent outfield defense? Yeah, they're not going to be a good outfield defense if that's the case. They'll be like average to below average. But the offense, it makes it worth it. Like Kyle Tucker. Let's take a look here. Kyle Tucker, folks. Kyle Tucker mashes the baseball. 136 WRC plus this past year, a down year. 377 on base. Last few years, let's look at the last 3 years, so 2023 to 2025. Top 10 hitter, WRC plus, on base percentage, 380, top 10. Just a machine. Strikeout to walk rate, big metric for me and building this Yankee lineup. Look at him. Look at the conversations he's in. Betts, Kwan, Soto, Ramirez, Perdomo. These are some of the best strikeout to walk rate guys in the league. Bregman, Kirk, Vlad, right? I mean, just too tough. Tucker's everything for me. He is a super tough, super duper tough guy. He's a guy who just absolutely does everything you freaking need, man. He's everything you freaking need. Everything you freaking need offensively. Bat to ball, power, left-handed, hits lefties well. One of the best left-on-left guys in the league. I know Bellinger is as well, but he's one of the best left-on-left guys in the league. And you take that 380 on base with 30 home runs and you put that in front of Aaron Judge as a left. You're just going to win so many baseball games off that alone. He's going to be getting fastballs left and right, and he's going to be hammering them over that right field wall. Bang, 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 bang. He's going to be hitting fly balls over the right field wall that he didn't even think he could hit out. He's going to hit a fly ball to right field. He's going to be like, I missed it. And he's going to look up. He's going to go, I hit a home run. I did what? I hit a home run? What? He's going to get fastballs down the plate that are disrespectful. It's ridiculous, dude. It's stupid. This is stupid. What do you mean he walks 13% of the time and he only strikes out 14% of the time and he can hit 30 home runs? What do you mean that's allowed in front of Aaron Judge? That shouldn't be allowed in front of Aaron Judge. And we saw the best version of this. With Juan Soto. Juan Soto was let's kind of look at Kyle Tucker last 3 years, 147 WRC plus. Hold that number in your head. 147. Let's look at the last 3 years of Juan Soto before he became a Yankee. Which clearly better player, obviously, not 154. 154 versus 147. That is a less than 10-point gap in WRC plus in production, and you put Tucker in front of Judge. What happened with Soto in front of Judge? Let's look at the Juan Soto numbers, right? Let's look at the Juan Soto numbers. 156 WRC plus the year after. What was basically the hitter he always is, which is a great hitter. He's a great player. Like, this is not anti-Juan Soto talk. I actually really, really love Juan Soto still. He's a great player. But that year, this year stands, obviously the 2020 year, but that's 47 games. This year stands out. This year is just like, whoa, he did what? Like what? Like he did what? He had 181. He was nearly 30% better than he was this past year offensively. The Aaron Judge effect, folks. The Aaron Judge effect. It's the Aaron Judge effect. It's I'm hitting in front of Aaron Judge. That's the effect, fellas. That's the effect. That's the effect. It's the Aaron Judge effect. When you hit it in front of a guy that good, that freaking good, man, it just makes life easier. It just does. It just does. Yeah, the stolen bases is crazy. Crazy. Why don't they talk about, when they talk about Scooble, why don't they talk about building a package around Rodon, Heel, Warren, Cunningham, and Dominguez? Rodon's a good pitcher, but he's an underwater contract. There are a lot of good players who are under, like Brandon Nimmo. Let's use Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo is actually like a three WAR player this past year. Underwater contract. Underwater contract, meaning if you're the Tigers, you're taking on a contract that's likely not going to be worth it in the last 3 years. That doesn't make sense for them. They would not want Rodon. They would not trade Scooble and take on Rodon's contract. So I do think that, look, Heel and Warren, I think Warren specifically because he's more durable, would be an attractive piece in this deal. But I don't think the Tigers are going to trade him. That's kind of like that's my ultimate conclusion, that they just don't think they'll trade him. So yeah. Kind of wanted to look at one more thing regarding Soto, because I just, just kind of wanted to touch on one more point with this that I think is really important to note. Because I don't think he got weaker. Look at the bat speed. I don't think he got weaker. 74.6, 73.6, 75.4. Look at the bat speed data. Look at the bat speed data. Fast swing rate, way up. Why do you think that's the case? I'm gonna spin a theory here. I'm gonna spin some theory here. Do you guys think that maybe knowing that you're gonna get a really good pitch to hit because in a 3-1 count because you're Juan Soto, do you think that part of that is because you're getting a fastball to hit and you can gear up to get ready to hit that pitch because the guy behind you is Aaron Judge and you're not gonna get walked to put on Aaron Judge? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Chat, what do we think? Do we think that has any effect on your offense? The ability to know on a 3-1 count, on a 2-0 count, on a 2-1 count, that it's different. Again, this is a great player. Juan Soto's a great player. Juan Soto put up a near 6-win season with the Mets. Juan Soto is he is a superstar. That guy is a stud. He's a monster. And even the best of the best, even a top 5 hitter on the planet, no lower than that. A top 5 player on the planet, in my opinion, no lower than that. Even he felt a difference. What do you think, Kyle Tucker? Kyle Tucker's never in his life hit in front of a hitter like Aaron Judge. Don't give me Yordan. It's not the same. Yordan's good. He's great. Judge is transcendent. Yordan is a great hitter. Judge is a once-in-a-lifetime. You've never seen anybody like it. You've never seen a right-handed hitter ever do what Aaron Judge has done. And you put Kyle freaking Tucker in front of that. You let him say, hey, Kyle, 3-1, he looks down at the third base coach. He goes, hey, what's up? He's just doing, go out and get him. Go get him. You're going to get a heater down the plate. Annihilate it. Right field's 314 feet away. Annihilate it. And you know where this also affected? Look at the pull error rate for Soto. Never a pull air guy. Not even a pull air guy at the Mets, but a pull air guy at the Yankees. I don't think it's because he was trying to hit the ball to right field. I think it's because he could, again, get the bat out in front. Send it. Send it. Intercept point. Look at the intercept point here. Sorry, I'm so into this stuff. The only year where he hit the ball in front of the plate with Aaron Judge. Because when you have Aaron Judge there, you could do these things. You could sell out. Dude, have Rice leading off. I would lead off Rice because you put Rice. Yes, Ryan. Yes. Yes, you lead off Ben Rice. You lead off Ben Rice in the scenario, man. You lead off Ben Rice because Ben Rice, you put Ben Rice, Kyle Tucker, Aaron Judge. Remember, Kyle Tucker hits lefties. You don't have to worry about that. You put that lineup together. Oh my God, you're disgusting. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. Because how the hell could you pitch these guys? No one's saying Jordan isn't a beast, but this is not a competition. This is comparing trying to think of a great pitcher in today's game. This is comparing Yamamoto to peak Roger Clemens. This is comparing Jalen Brunson to LeBron James. Right? These are like this is no. You like this is he's great. He's greatness. Jalen Brunson, that's not really a fair comparison. This is comparing Luka to MJ. Luka's great. This is comparing Luka to LeBron. Luka's great. Luka Magic, he's great. He's not LeBron. You cannot compare him to peak LeBron. I love this. I dig this. Oh yeah, feed me this. Yeah. This is another really good one. Cats to Kevin Garnett. Yeah. It's greatness. Yes. It's greatness, but Judge is transcendent. It's different. You've never seen Judge before. I've seen Jordan before. Not a lot of them. I've seen like a couple, 2 or 3 or 4. I've seen like Soto's a better, I think, as good, if not a better hitter than Alvarez. There's another Alvarez in the league. So, yeah, again, I think, and yes, that's fair, but Judge just this past October was insane. He was not just Steven Kwan. Like, that dude was, you can say he was just Steven Kwan. He was not getting pitched to hit. And what did he do in the postseason? Mama, there went that man. He hit 500. That's not like, he hit 500 in the postseason. I'm sorry. That's not just being Steven Kwan. That was Mama, there goes that man type of performance. Dude, see, this would just, like, there's just something to, like, there's something that, like, Hoerner just adds to this that's just different. It's just different, man. It's just different. But, like, Tucker just takes you that next level. And we're coming up on the 122 mark for this stream. If you guys get me to the 150 likes mark, we're at 145. Get me to 150. We'll keep going. I will tap out at this mark. Hold on 1 second. Let me just make sure. Let's see. All right. We get to 150 on the likes on YouTube. We'll keep going for another 30. We'll keep going for 30. Let's see what else we've got here. Yeah, no, that is true. And that's kind of where I get, sad thinking about the fact that if Aaron Judge performed like he did in 25 and 24, the Yankees are World Series champions. And like, not to say that nothing matters at that point, but nothing matters at that point. I don't care what happens. So the next like 4 or 5 years, I just wouldn't give a shit. I wouldn't care. Like the Yankees, if the Yankees won the World Series in 24, I just wouldn't I just wouldn't care. Why would anyone care? Why would anyone like care that bad? Why would anyone be like, oh my God, I hate the Yankees if they don't win a World Series one year? Are we at one? We are at 150. Yeah, we're rolling. Let's keep rolling, fellas. We're at 160. Let's keep rolling, fellas. We're rolling for another 30. Appreciate that, Michael. Thank you so much, man. Really, thank you, bro. Bro, this would be stupid. I would try to hit. I like hitting Hoerner more 5th, 6th. He's a good on base guy, but he's not an elite on base guy. And I like having a little bit of power, top of the order. You want some pop because without pop, then they're just going to fill the zone against Hoerner to not face Tucker with a runner on. And they're going to force Hoerner to do a job. And not saying Hoerner can't do a job, but like Hoerner's skill isn't doing damage on contact. It's a lot of contact and then the ability to kind of work these long at bats, get on base a little bit, work some walks, get hit by some pitches. Like that grindy mentality, that grindy at bat, I don't think that's what you want in front of a player who teams don't want to see. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I like being wrong when it helps the Yankees. You think the Cubs will trade Hoerner? I think they're not. I don't think they're going to do it, but Heyman floated it, and I don't think it's like the craziest thing in the world. This is kind of my theory here. Let's kind of pull up the roster resource. I'm going to share this tab. Let's pull up the roster resource. Here's my thinking for like the Cubs here, and like the Yankees maybe being able to sneak in a Hoerner trade. Shout out Tim Hortons. Get me through this. All right. Free agent board here. Imanaga, Happ, Suzuki, Tyone, and Hoerner, all free agents. Boyd, a mutual option. He'll likely decline it. Kelly, mutual option. He'll likely decline it. So maybe he didn't really want to bring Kelly back. But point is, that is a lot of production. Let's kind of tally for a quick second. I'm going to tally for a quick second what these guys all did for them in 2000. Sorry, I need to zoom. Let's kind of state their impact. I apologize, trying to like put this together in one flow. Say as a free agent, Happ free agent, Kelly would be a free agent, Carson Kelly, Hoerner would be a free agent. Oh, Nico. Okay. This past season, they combined for 79 home runs, a WRC plus of 116. They combined to be to contribute 12.8 WAR. That's pretty notable. The Chicago Cubs as a team, as a position player group last year, produced 31.1 WAR. So this is about a third of their player production. In terms of offensive runs, they produced 82.9. This is 41.8. So half of their offensive value came from these players that are all going to hit free agency next year. It's going to be hard for the Cubs to just be good in 2027 without these guys. Maybe that's an incentive for them to keep them. That's definitely an argument you can make. I would not hear you and say, hey, that's stupid as shit. But maybe that's a way to say, hey, you can trade and cash in because you're not going to sign all three of them. It's not that you do a fire sale. It's that you say, all right, I'm going to pick a couple, like a player or two from this group. We'll pick Hoerner from this group. We'll trade him. We'll try and recoup some controllable assets that we can rebuild the rest of our roster with, knowing that Happ and Suzuki are free agents, knowing that Tyone and Boyd are free agents, knowing that Imanaga's a free agent. Pitching could be really important to them because if you look at their roster right now, roster resource, once again, step up for me. Love roster resource. Shout out Fangraphs. Shout out John Becker. I love John Becker. Good dude university. You've got not a great, like this is not a rotation that's great already. Now imagine Tyone, Imanaga, and Boyd gone. Oh, I have to do this for pitchers too. So hold on. Pitching production. What did Boyd, Tyone, and Imanaga do for them this past year? Nothing crazy. They just produced a 3.51 ERA across 454 innings. Granted, the underlying metrics not great for this group, but it was a 15.2% strikeout to walk rate, which I think is the most important metric in baseball when it comes to pitching, for at least predicting future outcomes. The average strikeout to walk rate for a starting pitcher this past season was 14%. So an above average strikeout to walk rate. Share this tab real quick. Good whip, good average against a bunch of fly balls in this group, but Chicago's a good ballpark for fly ball pitchers. A 3.51 ERA, a 3.87 expected ERA. That's taking into account quality of contact prevention, and that's what these guys do really well. That is a good chunk of their starting pitching WAR from last year. It's 5.4 wins above replacement. How much WAR did the Chicago Cubs generate from their rotation last year? Because I know it wasn't a crazy high number. I know Cade Horton's probably their best pitcher going into 26, but this is still a pretty significant chunk of the rotation. They put up They put up 10.5 rotation WAR, or 10.3. So half their rotation WAR, half their offensive value coming from their free agents. So that is a notable chunk of their roster. Again, is Will Warren going to entice them? Because I think he would. I heard in speaking to people with knowledge of the Cubs situation last offseason that the Chicago Cubs were a team that was interested in acquiring Clark Schmidt, and were also interested in Will Warren. Schmidt was a player who was of interest in a deal for Nico Hoerner. Nico Hoerner was a player of interest for the Yankees last offseason, which is why I'm floating this now. And kind of talking about it now. And Heyman kind of opened the gates for me on this stupid conversation I'd always have. I'm always a Nico Hoerner guy. This is my dude. And so, yeah, that's the Nico Hoerner stuff. Sorry. Let's go to more questions. I think the Yankees finished 4th or last. No, I disagree. I think they're better than the Orioles and the Rays right now. Cubs would trade Hoerner for pitching. Yeah, I'd agree. Is Soto leaving? He left the Yankees. Could Donovan play shortstop? Because I can see they keep seeing Passan. We say we're in on him, but I don't know where he'd play. Yeah, so this is also, first off, not so fun family vision. Not so family fun vision. Love this guy. Great dude. Yeah, that's a good question. I think it'd have to be shortstop or playing left field. Left field or shortstop, the Yankees would have to believe he can play one of two. I think he's a good hitter and a good player, but I don't know. Kind of have to roll the dice there, right? That's kind of it. Keep rolling your questions in, guys. If you're watching this on the YouTube, keep rolling those questions in. Would you be talking about Tucker if we won the World Series in 24? I think I still would, but I just wouldn't be that desperate, you know? I would trade Warren and Jones for 1 year of Hoerner. I would too. Thank God he told Passan to write that fake article. Thanks, man. No. They're not trading Tatis. He's one of their best contracts. I can see the Yankees doing a blockbuster move. Even the Mets are making moves. Yeah, the Mets are making moves, man. Mets are making moves. They're doing a good job. They added Devin Williams. I like that deal. I liked that deal for them a lot. Let's keep rolling here with the questions. And I think a lot of them just loaded in late. I think Rice, Schlittler, Jones, and Minguez for... Nah, it's not going to get it done. Sorry. Ryan, can the Yankees trade for Trevor McGill and maybe get Gregory Soto? Hopefully the Mac Blake effect touches him and he replicates his 2022 numbers. That would be a big way to boost the bullpen. I'd really like that. Not really sure if we see that happen, but that'd be awesome. I'd be really, 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 really happy. Would be really happy about that. That'd be great. I'd love this. Yeah. Haven't rewatched that Cam Schlittler Red Sox game, but plan to soon. I do that like every couple of days. I can't lie, guys. What's the most likely trade target you see the Yankees doing? I think Brendan Donovan is probably it based on public reporting, but privately, I mean, I don't think it's Donovan that's the most likely. I don't know. Man, I don't know. That's a good Michael. I'm going to sit on that question for a little bit. Yeah, he's a good hitter. He's a good bat to ball guy. Cool, sign Tucker. Now you can sign. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Man, oh man, imagine Ketel Marte on the Yankees. That'd be super sick. Too tough. Let's see. Don't get Nico Hoerner. It's the same reason why I don't want Scuba because of the Soto rental. It's different. You're not paying Soto money to keep Hoerner, and Hoerner could be willing to sign an extension, unlike Soto and Scooble. So a little bit different. Let's see what else we got. There's another question. No. There was another question I was looking at. I'll keep scrolling down from here. Now is the time to get a star in Tucker. Yeah, the 27 class is more of like good players, not great players. Not great players, just good players. Yeah. Let's see. There's been talk that Pena could be available. It would be sick if the Yankees could get him. I just don't think that the Astros would trade him to the Yankees. That's kind of my understanding of this in terms of like just basing it off of what happened with Tucker a year ago. I don't think the Astros are trading their best players to the Yankees. Heel for Hoerner would work. I think Warren more so, but look, if you wanted, if Hoerner was the guy, like it'd be sick. If he was the guy, I'd prefer that for the Yankees. The Yankees need a 4-hitter to protect Judge. I think all of those guys you just mentioned, not Trent, but like Rice and Jazz. I think Rice for sure can do it. I think Jazz can do it. I don't think they need someone who's better than those two to hit fourth. I think they just need a great player to hit above that, right? I think that's kind of where they're at. Let's see. No, he won't hit 50 bombs, but he'll do good. 35 is a really good number. Can we do Warren and Jazz for Ketel? No, I don't think they can do that. I think that'll take way more. Is it wild to say Hoerner is better than Jazz? No, you could say that. He's been better in terms of wins above replacement in each of the last 2 years. So yeah, you could say that. You could definitely say that. Don't trust Heyman. Hey, it's each their own. The Yankees aren't a complete team. Yeah, they just aren't right now. But the beautiful thing about the Yankees is that they don't have to play Major League Baseball until March 27th, I think. Remember Arson Judge? I do remember Arson Judge. It is an overpay, but I think I'd do it. I think Warren, you might be able to argue that Warren for Hoerner is an overpay because it's 5 years of a controllable starting pitcher. Warren's value, I think, is way better than people think. It's way better than people think on the market. Let's keep it going. Devin will regress. Ask the Brewers, lol. I think he'll be better than he was this past year. I think he's good. I think he's a good player. Yeah. Devin was insane at the end of the year. Yes, for sure. I'm going to say most likely is Sandy, even though I don't want it to be. I think I would also say Sandy's there. I think that's a good answer for that. But I don't know. I think Sandy's a good answer for this. Yeah, it's a good answer for this, but yeah, it's a good answer. Dodgers are going to sign Diaz, aren't they? Maybe. I disagree with this. I think they're like, I don't think these two rosters are that different. I think the Blue Jays are like slightly better, but not like insanely, magnificently, so unbelievably better where like the Blue Jays are on a different class. I think we're taking too much of the previous season results and not factoring in, how players will perform next year, in my opinion. Ryan, tell me why Dax Kilby will be the number one prospect in baseball by the year's end. I don't think he'll be number one, to clarify, but insane quantity of contact, good quality of contact, only 19 years old, really, really good athlete, great speed. This is a guy who I think could be the number one prospect in the Yankee organization as soon as June. He is an insanely talented player, ridiculous talent, considering they got him in the back end of, they got him in the kind of in the compensatory range back end of the first round. I think he was an outside of the top 30 draft pick, closer to 40 than he was to 30, if I'm not mistaken. Dude, in general, they aren't built to compete in the East. Like, are the Red Sox built to compete in the East? Like, do you want to look at the Red Sox lineup? Do you want to look at it together? Dude, let's look at this together. I want you to zoom in on this. I want you to stare at this for a second. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Down that whole coffee. Just give you guys more time to process this. That's Masataka Yoshida hitting fifth. That's Masataka Yoshida hitting fifth on the baseball team. It's Trevor Story hitting third. Right? Yeah. Okay. Dax, again, I love Dax Kilby. Making tacos right now. Nice, John. What kind of tacos are you making? Okay, everyone in the chat, tell me about your favorite taco. Your favorite taco. I'm a carnitas guy with my tacos. Carnitas. No, I don't think Oswaldo's comparable to Donovan. What's the big Passan news? Jason Dominguez is like on the trade block. Like, that guy might get traded. When Passan says you're a trade candidate and it's very publicly speculated that you're a trade candidate, yeah, that's on the table. And also mentioned that if the Yankees get Bellinger, they are trading an outfielder. This is not they can hold on to guys. No, they are trading an outfielder. And then listed them as fits next to Donovan, Cabrera, Gore, and Skubal. There we go. Bang. Desperately need a leadoff hitter. Yeah, I would. I mean, I think Ben Rice can do it, but yeah, it'd be cool if we can get like a guy who could hit number one for us next year. Nico Hoerner's agent is Apex, not Boris. The Yankees could re-sign him. Yo estoy de acuerdo. I agree. And we're gonna kind of like keep it on Nico Hoerner's savant for now because it's really pretty. Save prospects for a star trio like Betts, Ohtani, Freeman. I mean, we'll see. I don't think anything like that's coming shaking free this year, but we'll see. This is good. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, huh. Hey, I appreciate that. I try and do what I can, at least dedicate time. I know that Dan Rourke of Yankees Avenue, he spends a lot of time on his live streams taking comments and answering them. So I don't want to say I'm the only one. He's really good at that too. And I don't really have a large enough audience where I get swarmed by comments. I have a good audience, but like, for some of the other guys like John Boy, for Derek of Pinstripe territory, like these guys have double my YouTube channel. So like they triple, quadruple, it's a lot easier for me. You know what I mean? But I do enjoy it. I love taking time to answer you guys' questions and talk about that stuff. How do you feel about Wells, Volpe, McMahon, bottom of the order? I don't love it. It'd be nice to see him do better there. I think Wells is solid. Like I'm not mad. It's not Wells really. It's more Volpe, McMahon. We kind of either prefer to get like Tucker or like get Bellinger and try and upgrade off of one of those two guys in Volpe, McMahon. kind of looking at Volpe as a guy who's clearly the worst player on the lineup. I'm not going to lie, but that's neither here nor there. Don't see the Blue Jays getting back anywhere near where they were this year. I think they're going to be good. I don't think they're going to be like the best team in the American League on paper. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if I can. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but like, I think they're good. They're in the mix. They can definitely be the best team in the AL next year. I just don't think like you can't look at this, even if you want to look at it from the standpoint of like last year results, you would look at it from the standpoint that the Yankees won 94 games, the Blue Jays won 94 games. It's a race to see whose team's going to regress harder and then whose team makes the most improvements. That's kind of my brain, my analysis. Although super talented, Jazz is a bad situational hitter. He pouts too much. No long-term deal. I don't know if he pouts too much necessarily. Like, I don't know. I think that there are some reasons to not want to give him a long-term deal that have to do with personality, but I don't think he's a bad dude. I think it's just like, is he going to get hurt? The response to being benched in game 1 of the wild card wasn't great. I didn't love that. I don't know if I would not sign him because of that. I just think that he's very expressive. Maybe some guys feel that way privately, but never express it. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. So yeah. Let's see. That's a good point. Only one elite player in the lineup, and he isn't elite yet. Yeah, I think Roman Anthony will get there, but I don't think he's like an elite. Like, I don't think he's a top 10 player in baseball right now, per se. Praying for the day Cashman owns his mistakes and ships guys like Grisham and McMahon, even if they take half their salary. I wouldn't trade them to save half the salary, especially Grisham. I think Grisham's better than what you're going to be able to get in center field, most likely. Luis Heel, Ben Hess, and Hoerner for, I think the Cubs are in. I would do that, and I think the Cubs might do that. Brian, do you think the Yankees make a deal during the winter meetings? And if so, who are they most likely to acquire? I'll say Tatsuya Mai. Steak. I like steak on a taco. Pink taco. What's a pink taco, guys? Carnitas are fire. They're tough. Hopefully Mattingly and A-Rod get put through the Hall of Fame. That probably not, though. I'd love to see those two in. Favorite taco is wild. I'm out of here. Okay, man. Sorry, Ruben. I was just asking to keep the conversation going, Ruben. My apologies. Sorry, man. My fault. OG. My fault, man. My fault, man. Yeah, I would do that. I think I would do that. There are moves to be made right now, but the Jays have a better lineup, rotation, defense IMO, but they're still full all season. Yeah, I mean, I think that they do have a better rotation. I don't know about the offense. The bottom of the order for them is also pretty rough because it's Clement and Jimenez, and I know Clement had a great postseason, but like Volpe had a great postseason the year prior. Kind of hard for me to sit here and tell you that that's sticky on a year-to-year basis. Barger's really good. Like this is a really good lineup, I think. But like Nathan Lucas was a league average hitter last year. You can poke holes in this. I do think the Blue Jays are better. Like if I were to pick a division winner, I'd pick the Blue Jays. If that kind of answers your question, Marcus. So I do agree with you. I don't think the gap is large enough for an offseason to not cover it. And I think the Yankees have more moves left than the Blue Jays. I would be in on this. I'd be cool with that. I don't know if Rhett Lauder helps me win baseball games this upcoming year, and that's where I'm a little bit underwhelmed. Dude, their chicken quesadilla is absolutely fucking awesome. I love their chicken quesadilla. They're not going to take Grisham and eat $11 million, and that's not going to open up a path for Tucker and Bellinger. And I don't think that you want to sign. I don't think the Yankees are adding two like big contracts to two outfielders and then running $1 billion outfield. Birria is tough. Birria is super tough. Jeff Passan is the GOAT. Yep. I would love Danny Collum. I would love him. Love him. He's just old, so there's a little bit of concern there. Can't trade Grisham until mid-June. You just can't do it without his expressed written consent. Unfortunately, with Cole and Rodon being out, we need to keep Warren. Not the worst guy to have in the back end. No, I mean, I think Warren's good. I'm just saying, like, Warren has trade value. If you could trade Will Warren and you can get a big player back, I think that the Yankees could get a solid, really impact player back. I burped. I apologize, guys. That was really gross of me. Sorry. But if you sign a Mai, then you can do some stuff like this. But if you don't, even if you sign a Mai, maybe you can't do that. That is a good point, Ernest. Like you really have to worry about your rotation depth regardless. Birria tacos are too tough. Dan is the GOAT. Dan's a man. I love Dan. He's always been awesome to me. Sign me to a 3-year, $42 million deal. I can't throw the baseball, guys. McMahon, Dominguez, Hess for Donovan, Arenado, Walker, Pajes. No, I'm not doing that. And here's why I'm not doing that. Arenado. I'm taking the Arenado contract. And it's not like any of these guys, like Donovan provides value, but am I doing all this for just Brendan Donovan? No. And I don't know if the Cardinals do this. What's the appeal for the Cardinals is kind of my point here. Actually, the Cardinals should do this because Arenado's off the books, but I don't know. I don't think this is like making me a much better team I know Donovan, like, what is Arenado going to do for the Yankees? Just sit there and eat money? I don't know. I don't know. Grish can ride the bench behind Tuck and Belly until June. I think Grisham's a solid player. I don't know. I'm not completely out. I'm not like Grisham's going to repeat his year, but I think Grisham's good. I think Grisham's a good hitter. I liked a lot what he did last year. Good contact rates, good power numbers. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I don't agree with that. I like John Boy. They're good at what they do. I think it's one thing that I think a lot of people have to note with content is that you have to engage your audience. And unfortunately, people only click on things that are kind of clickbaity. And like, that's not their fault. That's not anyone's fault. It's just the nature of society. That's just kind of how things are. So I don't blame them for any of that. I just kind of accept it for what it is. Do you think we'll move on from McMahon this offseason? I don't think so. All three have no contact in the bats. Yeah, it's talking about the bottom of the order. Not great. It's an issue I think the Yankees want to address. Firestar will be at the top soon. Trust me. I appreciate that, man. I really do. Projections like the Jays. Yes. And that's they are a good team. That is, I don't want to sit here and be Mr. They stink. Don't worry about them. They're dangerous. Yeah, they're dangerous. Bregman for third. It'd be cool on the idea would be cool, but it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think the fit is good offensively, and I don't think that's going to work for the Yankees. Let's see. You see, it's interesting because like overly emotional, way he carries himself drives me nuts, brings the energy we need in the Bronx. Like, I think he's such a Jazz is definitely a polarizing person. So, yeah. Really hope Volpe can shove next year and put up a decent season, quiet the noise around him. Not likely, but I'm rooting for him. Yeah, I think it's easy to root for a guy who hasn't done it and is an underdog. It's easy to root for the underdog, and I'm rooting for Volpe, man. I really am. What team would be interested in Jazz at the deadline? Mets? I know Simeon's at second, but you could put Jazz at third. Jazz in the outfield. That'd be fun. That's possible. It's also possible the Yankees do it. It's possible the Dodgers do it. Like, I think what happens to the Mets this past year is just like one team every year is sentenced to insanely awful outcomes. Tucker, 10 years, 330. What do you think? I would do that in a heartbeat. Oh, I guess I'm a very naive young man. I think I am pretty naive. Let's keep rolling here. So this is based on John Heyman just saying like they could move a rental player, and the Yankees had interest in him last year, is what I'm reporting, or not really reporting, just mentioning. Don't know if that's reporting really. I think you can kind of piece that together by just using your noggin. So I don't know if that's really reporting even. But yeah. Yeah, I think it's fair to say like he's not a mistake yet. I think he can be a good player. That's a good point. I think it's a really strong point. This is not boring. It's not boring. Chicken tacos are good, man. I love a chicken taco. Don't say that. We talked about this already, but it's not great, but he's a good player. He's a good player and be a really good outfielder. Tucker's a great hitter and it's worth it. Okay. I mean, I also think they're in. I've heard they're in. And I heard they really like the player, but hey, maybe it's just all smoke screen. Maybe I'm getting smoke screened. It's not something that's never happened before. Sometimes you get smoke screened and faked out, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be that guy, but sometimes it happens. That's like a very boring answer, but sometimes it happens. I'm not going to, unfortunately, you're not getting the Ryan Garcia hates John Heyman thing because I don't really despise the man at all. I think he's a good dude. Big boss move would be for us to go get Edwin Diaz. That'd be sick. We're not going to spend on a reliever. Like you said, not going to happen. That would be disgusting though. I think regression on a player who's a career 218 hitter isn't something we need right now. He's a career 218 hitter, but he's also a career, I think, 100 or 102 WRC plus player. So like very much an up and down career, but like a career okay hitter, career 101 OPS plus guy. And if you guys remember, like Trent Grisham there was a point in time where people thought Trent Grisham was going to be very good for a very long time. Trent Grisham's always been talented. He's just lost it for a couple of years and then got it back. He lost it for 3 years, got it back. He's had 3 years being as an everyday starter, being a really good player, 3 years not being that good of a hitter. And so he's an up and down. He's kind of a seesaw. That's the concern. But yeah, I played high school ball. I was not good at high school ball. I was a very bad baseball player after little league and middle school. Once I got to high school, I was turbo dog shit. I think it's because it's just too early in the offseason for them to be close, and for them to be close to that number. Trade just Grisham, overpay and sign Bader for left field backup center fielder. Look, if you could have Bader as a fourth outfielder, that'd be great, but I don't think that's going to happen. Difference between Nolan and McMahon. I think McMahon being younger gives him more upside to perform well offensively. And actually, I'm not sure. I want to confirm this before I say this because I think I'm right on this. Yeah, Nolan Arenado was a worse hitter than Ryan McMahon this year. It's very marginally, but it was a worse hitter. And that left field is going to suck for Arenado. You would not expect Arenado to rebound from last year. You could reasonably expect McMahon, who really underperformed his underlying metrics, to play up to that number in 2026, maybe hit the ball to right field a little more. Arenado kind of cooked at this point. That's kind of the reason why. And the defense for Arenado's actually regressed a good bit too. Arenado, just a +2 fielding run value and +6 DRS guy this year. McMahon, much better than that. Tigers have interest in Michael King. Good for them. That'd be sick. Jose Barrios for Josh Chisholm would be freaking hilarious. That would make me I would not watch baseball after that. Mustache is super tough. Okay, this I'm actually going to push back on a little bit. I'm going to push back on this. Trent Grisham, let's share the stab. Yes, he had a great first month, and that was his best month of the year. But look at the next, look at the month. Look at the monthly numbers. Where can I find them? I want monthly advanced numbers. I don't want that batting average stuff. I want OPS. I want WRC plus because those are my favorite stats. All right, OPS 1000. Great. He had a 900 OPS in there. He had a 771 is above average. He was never below average offensively, which is important to note. First half OPS 817, second half 804. So even if you remove April and just look at like the second half, he was really good in the second half. He was start to finish good hitter year round. So don't think that sticks for him. Green chili tacos, that's tough. I've actually never had one. I got to try one. Hey, that's fair. I think it's an opinion. I don't think you have to believe that he was worthy of it. I would have offered it to him. So yeah. No, you can trade them early. You just can't do it without them. They have to approve the trade. And when they approve the trade, then that can happen. That's up until this 15th of June. Let's see. What else we got? Mason Wynn would be tough, but he's pre-arb. I think that might be more of a fantasy than anything else. I love Byron Buxton. Injury is a concern, but he's a really good player. I like Buxton. I'd roll the dice. I know he's made of glass, but I'd roll the dice. This is a good point. That's a concern. You got to check the medicals, and he's another year old. That's a little bit scary. Would have stuck Jazz in the outfield. I just don't think he's wants to be there, but I could be wrong. Yeah, this is a good point. He didn't like playing the outfield. Yeah, it'll be hot next week, and Jack Curry's actually going to bring back Hot Stove next week. I think he'd be a good player without it, but I don't think he'd be a great player without it anymore. At least with Yankee Stadium. I think he'd be a good, not great player. Sorry. I'm saying people who hate Jack. Oh, okay. That's a take. That's a hot take. And I will say this. If you think that Jazz is someone you would date, not marry, so like trade for him, not extend him, that's fine. But I think people do underrate the fact he's a good player. He's a really good player. He's a very good player. I like what he brings to the table offensively and defensively. I don't know if it's a marry situation. Injuries bake into that as well, but he's a date, not marry guy, I think. For some, if you are just I wouldn't even want him on my roster kind of guy, that's where I disagree. He's a date, not marry guy potentially, but he's not a bad player. He's a very good player. Does Tyler Rogers interest me? Yes, he does. I like him. I know he's not like a great fit for like velo and all that stuff, but he's a good reliever. I just think they need another good reliever in there. Yeah, he was really good this year. Really good this year. No. He produced. He was a worse defender and a worse hitter and played fewer games. Tucker's a must sign IMO. That's fair. Depending on how you view the roster, that's fair. Yeah, 7 for 150 is a number that you kind of hear brought up a lot, or like that range. Yankee Source has that as their estimation. I'd estimate, I think like 7 160 is kind of where I'd put the ballpark number at. That seems to be kind of the number we're getting here. As we enter the 2-hour mark, there isn't a like total, unfortunately, that will get me to keep going for 30 more minutes. I'm probably going to wrap at the 2-hour mark. I need to eat and go to bed. because I have more work tomorrow and a long day tomorrow, but I'll be going live probably tomorrow at like 9-ish. I have a game to do for my radio station for my school, but that'll be TBD on start time. And if that happens, you'll get a community post, either of it happening or of it not happening. So there's that. Pull up Grisham baseball fan graphs. Let's do it. I love you. Anytime someone asks me to pull up fan graphs, your answer is yes, man. Your answer is yes. Always yes. Siempre, mis hermanos y hermanas, my peoples. That's not what hermanos and hermanas means. That means boys and girls, or men and women, something of that nature. Sorry. Anywho, career 102 WRC plus hitter, expected weighted on base average of 323. And I know that WOBA is not as common of a metric that's used, and I try to include expected OPS as a stat a little more in my conversations because, we're trying to be. I'm trying to get you to understand what I'm saying. Again, I'm not trying to get you to agree with me. You don't have to. I'm not trying to get you to feel only one type of way about baseball and view baseball in one type of way. I am, however, trying to make sure you understand what I'm saying and that you can understand what I'm saying and that I'm expressing my opinion and explaining myself in a manner that makes sense. Trent Grisham has a career 734 expected OPS. So 734 expected OPS, an actual OPS in his career of 720. So career slightly better than average hitter. Really just a league. Let's be honest. Career league average hitter. Career slightly above average expected OPS guy. If you put up a 734 expected 734 OPS, I apologize. We can compare that to some 734 OPS guys in the league this past year. Now some of them play in different ballparks, so their WRC plus aren't accurate. Like Teoscar, 738, 102 WRC plus. Mike Yastrzemski, 735, 106 WRC plus. Jung-Hoo Lee, 107. Correa, 106. Beck, that's Colorado, a little different. Don't really count that. Oh, this is a good comparison. Goldschmidt, 731, 103. So, yeah, it's an above average OPS mark. Is he better than that? We'll see. I think he can be better than that. But time will tell with that. Time will tell. We got a super chat here from Ferg, and I'll get to that comment. Don't worry. I trust, love Rodon, but I'm worried about him missing the start of the year. Maybe last time it happened, it didn't go well. To be honest, yeah, dude, I'm a little bit scared about Rodon for next year because he's older. You can lose your stuff. It's a little bit concerning how that can age and how that can work for the Yankees in 2026. But I will say, in regard to Carlos Rodon, I do think he's got more polish in his command and more polish in his repertoire to return next year and be an effective starting pitcher. But we will see with Carlos Rodon. I do think, again, there are some concerns with Rodon and his outlook for 2026. I would expect an ERA regression even without the injury, but there is concern with like, hey, he's going to miss some spring training time. There are some guys who have, there are just some guys who just don't do well without spring training. There are just a lot of really good pitchers who have good years the year after and struggle big time, with rebounding without spring training. So we'll see. But he did miss a whole half of the year. Maybe just missing a couple of weeks or a month is different for him. The only players that have been mentioned that are available with a close OBP: Hoerner, Donovan, Ketel, Marte. Solving leadoff nearly impossible. Could pry Wilson away from the A's. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Grisham was one of the better OPP guys on the available market this past year. Solid stream, gentlemen. Pleasure conversing with you all as usual. Appreciate that, man. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Carne Asada, that's tough. Tatis Jr. in left field. Don't think he's going to get traded. So let's see. What else we got here? Right here. Grisham won't be good next year. Again, totally possible he isn't, but he's got 3 years being good, 3 years not being good as an everyday starter. So there's that. And yes, Grisham does look older than he actually is. And yes, I think the mustache does that. Have you ever had sancocho? I've actually not. I'm very much an anti-soup guy outside of like instant noodles. And like, I like chicken soup and that's it. And I was a very picky eater as a kid. I got to give sancocho a try. There are a lot of foods I ruled out for myself as a child. Then I started trying now. Pasta, I didn't eat until last year. And I finally tried it and I was like, oh, wow, this is really good. I'm kind of a loser for not eating it beforehand. So yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. I will give it an honest, earnest try. Oh yeah, this would be perfect. I think Tucker can get close to this, man. He can get close to this. Grisham isn't bad. He's just not worth the money he's owed. He was offered. Hey, that's also a fair take, you know? Official offseason prediction: Bellinger and Meyer Yankees. That's all I got for you guys. Bellinger and Meyer Yankees. That's my prediction, folks. So yeah, we're closing on the 2-hour mark here on the Fireside Yankees stream. If the Yankees are dropping, hold on. The Yankees are dropping $300 million off to go after big fish pitching. That's fair. That's fair. Let's just hope it's a few weeks with Rodon, and him being on the team for 4 years now will likely help. I agree. And hey, man, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for commenting. Thank you to everybody who's here right now. Really, really appreciate you guys being here and talking and spending your evening with me. It's really it's something that just it humbles me. It really does humble me. I'm not crying. I just have a very stuffy nose. It's awesome. I really appreciate it, guys. It's something that makes me feel better. And honestly, support. I mean, it's crazy. I've got 30,000 people combined on Twitter and Insta and YouTube, which is nuts. Like, that's an insane number. I don't even know I don't even want to look at the Twitter right now because I'm like scared for what those comments look like. I'm scared of Twitter. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Twitter scares me. But yeah, I really appreciate it, y'all. No, I wasn't gonna cry. I had a very stuffy nose. That's gonna see. I can't dodge that. Now it's gonna be like, nah, you were crying. I swear, like, I just have a really stuffy nose. I think it's possible. We'll see. He's gonna get $400-500 million. Twitter comments are wild. They're actually pretty tame. I'm always scared of like Twitter and Facebook. Always scared of Twitter and Facebook. Those are the two areas I get the most scared. Hey, I mean, I don't know if Judge's hitting coach would be able to fix Jones' strikeout rate. I don't really know. That's a good question. Maybe you should try. Okay. Anywho, we're going to start wrapping things up here. Any final questions you guys have? Let's start setting those in now. Who do you think the Yankees will be big sign or trade player? Am I a guy I think they're going to be in on? Tucker versus Bellinger is going to be interesting. I'm not sure if that'll be someone. I don't know who they'll grab, but I think they'll grab one of the two. Yeah. Sorry for that sniffle. Let's see. Let's see. Ryan Simonetti getting very emotional tonight. That is an insane comment. That is insane. We need to trade McMahon and sign Okamoto. I would love Okamoto. I just don't think they're gonna be able to trade McMahon and get good value back. Baseball America's lower on him now than they were at the deadline. The industry seems to be lower. Strikeout rates were really high down the stretch after he got ranked as the top 100 guy. So that's not particularly shocking. He can't lead off, but I think he could hit in the middle of the lineup. Yeah, I think it was cheap protection too. It's also, you need depth. Yeah. I don't know if they're in if they get Bichette. So yeah. Let's see what else. Okay, we're going to start wrapping things up. I just want to make sure I get to every question we are getting here. I don't think Bichette is realistic. I don't think it's going to happen. If we get MI, most likely, we're most likely shopping. Who are we most likely shopping, if not multiple? I would say Heel. Heel's the guy who I think they would be most willing to give away, and would, like, if the Yankees could trade Heel or Warren and get the same exact player, they'll trade Heel. I think is my opinion. MI, $150 million. Ponce to the Jays. I like it for them. 3 years, $30 million. Cheap player, could be a number 3 starter if everything goes right. More of a number 4, number 5 starter. Good player for that price point. Cheap starting pitching is always a win, I think. $10 million for starter is always a win. That would be super sick. Bichette to the Giants, I would have believed that to happen, but then the Giants basically just said publicly, hey, we're cheap. So no. Don't like hard-shelled tacos. I agree. I'm a soft-shelled taco guy. And I just gave my thoughts again to reiterate. $10 million a year for a starting pitcher is always attractive of your team, but I think that it's more attractive when you look at someone like Ponce. Sorry, I was like blanking on the name. Who I think could be a number 4 or 5 median outcome and number 3 for the median outcome. Not median. Number 3 for the upper end outcome. But like a number 4 starter, number 5 starter for $10 million is really good value, in my opinion. Who do you think is the biggest threat to sign MI? Phillies, potentially? Phillies and Mets? Maybe Cubs, too. Red Sox get Alonso and trade for Gore. That would suck. I did see that. I think it's a good contract for the Jays. It's an aggressive one, sure, but I think it's a good one. I don't hate this for the Jays at all. Dylan a big swing and miss guy. I think he led the league in qualified whiff rate, so yeah. Casey Schmidt did have surgery. That's a good point. Maybe that makes the infield ready for an infielder. whether it be Bichette or maybe trading for a guy. So yeah, if we get Tucker and Amaya, are we able to get anybody else? I don't know. If they get those two though, I'm really happy. They could get nobody else, and I would still feel like they're going to be the best team in baseball potentially. Although I'd prefer some relievers. Anywho, we're going to wrap things up here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out Fireside Yankees. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe. Click that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, like all that stuff, comment, share this to a friend, share the channel to a friend. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Links to all of this stuff are in the description, whether that's our social media page or Empire Sports Media. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Perfect.